Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. We're going to go on the air in about 60 seconds.
Taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
The Steve King Show.
Subscribe if you're not subscribed. This is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in the world.
You may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits.
No.
Call Attorney Barry
I lost the cover to my...
and find out what benefits
Shoot.
are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free.
I lost the little guard for my headphone.
FLA 37821 855.
Where did that go?
FLA 3782.
Yeah.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's
Good morning, Dan.
GO-CANE-1.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is already Monday morning, the 29th of June, 2020. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. Welcome. So much happening, so much going on. Oh, man. I tell you, what's going on in this country is crazy. Did you see that husband and wife come out with the guns, with the protesters in front of their house? My goodness, my goodness. Fox News has gone full steam ahead in their anti-Trumpness, which we're going to talk about here early on. And we have some updates. We have some updates on what the never-Trumper liberals did to sabotage President Trump's Tulsa rally. That's coming up, and a whole bunch of other things, too. That just scratches the surface. That's just the first 10 minutes of the show today. Huh? Yeah, you know, these polls that you're seeing that are just ridiculous, right? Double-digit leads for Joe Biden against President Trump. This is just absurd, right? I mean, they have the weakest candidate in the history of candidates. They would be in trouble if they had a charismatic presidential candidate and then Biden was at the bottom of the ticket in this current condition that he's in. To have your candidate at the top of the ticket in this kind of condition, it's just absurd. And you see these double-digit leads. And, you know, the polls, I never follow polls. And I did go back. I'm not going to read over them to you, but I did go back to the 2016 polls at this very time, right? Summer of 2016. And guess what? Hillary Clinton was ahead in every poll. In Florida, she was like 9-10 points ahead at this point in 2016. Give me a break. But Fox News has gone way the hell over the line with this latest story that they've disguised as an op-ed. I first saw this by the guy that wrote this opinion piece at foxnews.com. I saw it on the Twitter. He tweeted it. And then a whole discussion goes. And then I go to the foxnews.com website, and they have it up there right on the front page yesterday, and it's put up there as an op-ed. So they can get this discussion going that I guess I'm falling victim to, but I'm going to talk about it because Fox News is bad news, right? Listen to this. This is the headline. Fox News op-ed. This was published 11 hours ago, and then they updated it 9 hours ago. I wonder what they had to change 2 hours after they put it online. Rough polling stretch has GOP operatives asking, could Trump drop out? Listen to this story. A stretch of lackluster polling for President Trump has some Republican operatives nervous. Who's that? Ann Coulter? Who's that Republican in the afternoons on MSNBC? Who are these Republicans? A stretch of lackluster polling for President Trump has some Republican operatives nervous about the president's re-election prospects in November, with some even floating the possibility for the first time that Trump could drop out if his poll numbers don't rebound. Is there anyone out there who believes that Joe Biden is ahead by even a point, not to mention these double digits we're seeing, against Donald Trump? It's too early. But if the polls continue to worsen, you can see a scenario where he drops out. One GOP operative who asked to remain anonymous told Fox News. What's with this anonymous GOP operative? What is an operative? Is anyone, am I an operative? Are you operatives, right? If you're a Republican voter, are you an operative? You wear, like I'm wearing my Trump 2020 hat, right? I'm on the radio, podcast, everything promoting. Am I an operative? Are you an operative? So basically anybody that has an R or claims to be a Republican is an operative. Talk about weak sourcing. This is almost as bad as this Russia story that we're going to talk about for the New York Times over the weekend. It's too early, but if poll numbers continue to... Now again, I'm reading from FoxNews.com. It's too early, but if polls continue to worsen, you can see a scenario where he drops out. One GOP operative who asked to remain anonymous told Fox News. I've heard talk, but I doubt it's true, another said. My bet is he drops if he believes there's no way to win. This is as real as the Stormy Daniels story. When has Donald Trump quit anything? When has Donald Trump ever quit? And I remember on The Apprentice, sometimes people would quit. Remember how he would act when people would quit? Oh my goodness. Nothing ticked Donald Trump off more on The Apprentice than someone who was quitting. Now, this one guy from Fox Business is the one who started this nonsense. Charles Gasparino. He's with Fox Business. He's been there for a long time. And I've seen him on there a bunch of times. He's the one who started tweeting this yesterday. Just started tweeting it. And then all of a sudden it becomes a story disguised as an op-ed at FoxNews.com. And this is what Fox Business Channel's Charles Gasparino tweeted yesterday. Breaking. GOP operatives are for the first time raising the possibility that real Donald Trump, that's the president's Twitter handle, could drop out of the race if his poll numbers don't rebound. Over the weekend, I spoke to a sample of major players. One described Trump's current psyche as fragile. Anybody know what that's from? I'll do the correct pronunciation. One described Trump's current psyche as fragile. I'm not convinced yet. He's got time and he's running against an opponent who is literally hiding in his basement. Plus, the public isn't focusing yet on just how left-wing Joe Biden has become. So much so he can bring himself to denounce riot. Can't bring himself to denounce riot. So come on. Who are these operatives? Who is that? Give me a break. There's a major effort. And Fox News, I had Fox News a lot on over the weekend. My wife and I redid our entire master bedroom, all with incredible products from Ace Hardware. And again, lots of Ace Hardware. There's only 2 advertising on the Steve Kane Show. Ace Hardware, Deerfield Beach Ace Hardware. We'll talk more about that later. Can't say master bedroom anymore. Uh-oh. Did you see this? We'll get to that. There's so much going on. But I had Fox News on a lot in the background when I was doing work in the master bedroom. And, the reason I had, people say, why do you got Fox on? I've got the One American News app on my television in the living room, but I didn't have my One American News app on the television in the bedroom where I was doing all the work. So I had Fox News on, and what's his name? Neil Cavuto. Is Neil Cavuto on all day on the weekends? My goodness, every time on Saturday, Cavuto was on. Well, regardless of all this, Fox News Channel, there are parts of Fox News Channel that are all right? The Hannity wing, a couple others around, But Fox News is on a mission to depress Florida voters. They're on a mission to depress Florida. They want you to be discouraged. They want you to be depressed. They're out there with, if you have an unnamed operative, does Donald Trump seem depressed to you? They say he's depressed. Now, I'm sorry that he's dealing with a global pandemic, and we've got Democrats running all over the place trying to keep the economy shut. We're just getting out of this, and I was watching the local news here in South Florida over the weekend. The mayor of Fort Lauderdale walking the streets of Fort Lauderdale Beach in Las Olas Boulevard over the weekend with code enforcement officers inspecting businesses, citing businesses, fining businesses who are not maintaining social distancing. I thought this was America. I didn't know Fort Lauderdale was North Korea. But, you have Democrats in Democrat areas all over the country trying to shut down the economy while as soon as it started opening back up again. He's dealing with the weight of the world, but does he seem depressed? Not to me, but they're trying to depress you. And it's very easy for the media to depress people right now because we've gone through something that I don't even think we've even processed yet, right? The pandemic, the shutdown of the economy, the shutdown of not just America, but most of the world. 2020 has been a terrible year, and depression is very high right now throughout America and the world. So while people are depressed because a lot of people are locked into their homes, they're afraid, they're seeing the news, there's all this crisis going on, it's easy to take things about President Trump and depress people even further. People who are depressed because of the world events of 2020, it's easier to keep them even more depressed by promoting phony stories like this. Is it responsible journalism? Is it responsible journalism to tweet some unnamed person who I'm calling a GOP operative, which is such a vague label? I don't even know what a GOP operative is. Really, I don't. But is it responsible for a senior correspondent, this guy's with Fox Business, it's on Fox News now, to tweet an anonymous GOP operative told me Republican strategists are thinking, come on. They're on a mission here, okay? They're on a mission to make you even more depressed, to make you feel as if Trump is losing, that he feels that he's losing. Come on. Come on. I'm following the president on Twitter over the weekend. He's on top of the world dealing with all kinds of things that we can't even imagine. And then they lay on this fake New York Times story about Russia, which I'll get into. Your calls are welcome. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening to us, local here in South Florida or throughout America or the world. A toll-free call, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I got to tell you about Champagne Automotive in Boca. They're our newest sponsor here to the program, Champagne Automotive Repair. An automotive repair shop is something that we've wanted to have as an advertiser here on the Steve Kane Show for a long, long time. And, we are very selective on who we bring on as sponsors of the program because when we have advertisers here on the Steve Kane Show, if you've noticed, either Steve or me or both of us use all of our sponsors. And every commercial we do is a personal endorsement, right? So Steve has the radiant barrier from Cut My Kilowatts. We both use Ace Hardware. You can go through the list. We're all driving around on tires from Friendly Tire. And an auto repair shop, we've wanted to have an auto repair shop on the program for years, and it is the most difficult of difficult sponsors to find for the program because it is an industry that has a reputation of being dishonest. Well, at Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, they will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need. They are as honest as the day is long. They're good people over there. And I'm telling you, take your car over there, even if from an oil change to transmission repair, they will help you. They will honestly diagnose your vehicle, tell you what your vehicle needs, and nothing more. Their address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. It's 106 Northeast Spanish River Boulevard in Boca. I also have a link to their website at stevekaneshow.com. Give them a call, 561-245-8101. They do it all, too. If your car needs any type of automotive repair or maintenance, give them a call, 561-245-8101. That's Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, We'll finish up our break and be back right after this. Insurance policy only pays someone if you die. The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you were still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry, all life insurance carriers in 2020 have adjusted their premiums. I lost the little cushion in my earbud.
Due to the updated mortality tables. People
I can't find it.
Let's
see if I can switch it off the other one.
Insurance premiums are lower. Call Debbie and Dan at I Will Advisors 954-753-8080 to learn more and for a free review of your existing life insurance policy. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Attention homeowners, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm here to cut your electric bill and save you a lot of money.
Okay, I took the one off the left earbud. Let's see if I can fit it on the right one.
Do this by making your entire home energy efficient by upgrading some or all of the following: roofs, doors, windows, insulating your attic, AC systems and ducts, hot water heaters, and even adding solar. Energy efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves over a short period of time. Our program is designed to make the savings on the electric bill pay for all or part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be current on your mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
Listen to the Steve King Show on iHeartRadio.
I did, and more. Oh, man, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve King Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You know, I think those of you out there on the Trump train, you should start wearing your Trump hats all the time, every day, everywhere you go. I've got a whole bunch of Trump hats. I've got so many Trump hats. I'm wearing one right now. The one I'm wearing now is a Trump 2020 hat. A listener gave Steve and gave me, they gave us two hats. Mine's red, Steve's blue, but it's Trump 2020. I'm wearing it right now. I did take it off when I went to Starbucks this morning, I must say. I did not want to wear it into Starbucks. You never know, these liberal baristas. Oh, before I get back to the issues, my daughter bought herself a new gaming... I'm not into video games at all. Not at all. I don't play video games. I'll play a little Miss Pac-Man here and there. That's about it. I'm not into video games. And my daughter is. She has a gaming computer. She has all kinds of PS, whatever the latest one is. My daughter went out and bought a gaming system for herself last week. She's been saving up her money. Oculus. Any of you know what Oculus is? Oh my goodness. It's virtual reality gaming. And I mean, they have a game. I played this last night. I could play this all day, all night. I had to get away from it. Lucky I'm here at work today. But it's called Vader Immortal. And it's a VR game. Got the VR headset, playing it in the living room, and it is the most. Have any of you played this Oculus? I cannot believe how advanced the technology. I sound like an old fogey, don't I? I can't believe the technology. It is if you are actually there. You are actually there, and you're dealing with Darth Vader and all this stuff, and he's like right there. It is insane. But Darth Vader comes out. And I jump back. I mean, I can almost feel him breathing. It's the most realistic thing. Oh my goodness! Have any of you familiar with Oculus? It's an incredible game system. I can't believe how far advanced these things have come. I feel like I was actually in the Star Wars last night playing this game. Anyway, all right, back to the issues at hand. So this Trump is depressed. Trump may drop out. And all this that they're floating over at Fox News channel, of all places, Fox News. Man. You know, and as I was saying before the break, you know, this president has so much going against him. He's got the media powerhouses, the political part, all this stuff going against him, trying to undermine him every step of the way. And are any of you out there, I'll throw this out there. What the heck? I'll throw this out there. Are any of you out there who are on the Trump train at all concerned about the election? You know, I don't even concern myself with this mail-in voting scam because now it'll affect, you know, you got to worry about it in House races, you know. But because of the Electoral College, do the mail-in votes. Trump's going to win California. Shocker. Now they'll screw us on the House races. I understand that, but what can I do? I'm talking about the presidential race. Are any of you on the Trump train concerned in one way, shape, or another about the Trump campaign being victorious on election night? I'm not. I know a lot of people are. I see it on the Twitter. I see what Fox News is doing. It's Fox News with these phony polls day in and day out, having discussion. And why did I saw Chris Wallace yesterday had that guy that Martha McCallum had on last week from Black Lives Matter New York. What is going on over there? What is it about Donald Trump that they hate so much? Really, what is it? I was watching YouTube last night, flipping through YouTube, and any of you know the actress Allison Janney? Allison Janney was on The West Wing, and a video popped up from a few years back. Allison Janney on The West Wing was the actress that played the White House press secretary, and this video popped up in my recommended videos. And it was of her at the White House back in the days of Barack Obama's presidency. And the White House press briefing was about to occur. And she came out in character from her West Wing character and started conducting a briefing. And then the guy that was Obama's spokesperson came out and they had a thing. And I was watching the press pool out there with Allison Janney, and they were just yucking it up with the Obama people and hands patting each other on the back and just in love and just having a party. What a difference with the press pool today as back in, I don't know what year that was, 2014, 15, 13. I don't remember. I didn't see the date on the video. I remember when it happened. Boy, they're just, they're animals. And because of the level of depression going on in America today, it's very easy for them to make you depressed. I read this story at the Gateway Pundit today. I put this up on the Twitter. And it really shows you what they're all about here, how petty they are. So, listen, the Tulsa rally was a disaster. I was talking about this after the Tulsa rally. Brad Pasquale should be fired, and they should bring in someone that's a professional campaign manager. I mean, that's my opinion, or, promote him upstairs somewhere. Make him special advisor to something and, get somebody in there that knows what they're doing. The Gateway Pundit has an article today. Must-read report, Tulsa Arena Management sabotaged Trump rally attendance. Ah, really? Shocker. How'd they do it? Listen to this. They did a few things, actually. And what they did is pretty bad. A June 25th report by Armstrong Economics claimed that early in the day on Saturday, this is the Saturday of the Tulsa rally, that the Arena Center staff placed stickers on every other seat in the arena, barring its use, thereby cutting in half the attendance of the 19,199-seat arena. This report had come out, but it wasn't backed up or corroborated by anyone else until Friday and Saturday, when Billboard and the liberal Washington Post respectively reported on the stickers and pushback by the Trump campaign that had campaign workers peeling the stickers off the seats shortly before the rally. Other allegations of sabotage made by attendees are that the Arena Center temperature screeners, listen to this. Now remember, everyone had to have their temperature taken to get in, right? Allegations of sabotage made by the attendee are that the Arena Center temperature screeners were pulled off the job hours early, thereby making it impossible for rally attendees to get the green wristbands needed to advance to the Secret Service metal detectors for entry into the arena and overflow stage area for the Trump and Pence speeches. And the cleared attendees were only allowed inside the arena in groups of 100 at a time. What makes the allegation of an effort to drive down attendance plausible is the celebratory tweet the night of the rally by Jay Marciano, head of management for the center. He tweeted this, Lion Don Show. Now again, this is the head of the management company that runs the arena where the Trump Tulsa rally was. He tweeted this the night of the rally. Lion Don Show in Tulsa is a big fat stiff. There's only 6,624 people in the arena. So much for their request of 1 million total lies. Are we surprised? Now we find out that they put the stickers that you weren't allowed to sit in every other seat, and they pulled temperature screeners off hours before the event, slowing down and limited the number of people who came in. Armstrong Economics reported this. The BOK Center, just before the doors opened, had blocked off every other seat in the arena. So the arena could only hold 9,500. As the doors were opening, they did this garbage. After continued back and forth with the Trump campaign, something happened to allow more people in groups of 100 at a time. We had to wait about 30 minutes between each 100 attendees being allowed in. Wow. There was a trickle into the building. I'm not talking about their security. We had already passed through metal detectors and everything. You could actually run into the building each time they would let just 100 of us in at a time, but that was just wrong and corrupt of the BOK management's part. They removed the stickers rule on every other seat, that is true, but only after they shut down all entry to the event location. I looked over at the screening area and told my wife, something's fishy, something's going on. 2 hours before the rally, the temperature screeners have left. No one can get on the stage overflow area or the BOK Center with the temperature screeners gone. They left their post. These are the temperature screeners. Thousands could not get into the first checkpoint because temperature screeners had to put a green wristband. It was all a setup to make it look like the crowds did not show up. The crowds did show up, and after 5 p.m., 2 hours before the event, no one was there to let them get to security. The Washington Post reported Saturday that the BOK Center purchased 12,000 stickers to block off seats, which would have brought attendance to around 7,000 in the 1,999 seat venue. This is what we are up against, people. And let me tell you, if I were a Democrat and I saw look at what Democrats have done, taking people's right away to go to church, right? This total scam and setup at the Tulsa rally. Democrat management pulling temperature screeners off. Democrat management blocking off every other seat. Democrat management of the arena stopping people from going through to get to security. When they get through that, they only let them trickle in at a slow rate. This was a very well-coordinated effort. Some guy with his Twitter talking about Lion Don just didn't say, hey, I'm going to get these Trumpsters. This was a coordinated effort. And on top of everything that happened outside with the security that we that we talked about right after the rally. Wow. So we need to find Republican towns, Republican officials, Republican fire marshals, and arenas run by Republicans. If that's possible, I don't know. All right, let's take our break. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
This
This is George Corey of the Soul Authority.
Call in, guys. Come on, 1-888
Sheltering in place.
Go
Many
Kane
people
1.
have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Feeling old, tired, run down, struggling with your sex life or weight control? Dr. Matez can fix it. Call the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490 or visit their website at brc4am.com.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry
know,
did
it's
a great
insane.
job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person.
If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Even if you're not a Trump guy, subscribe.
She had a trust and everything.
Hey, Jeff.
Revised this trust since 1997. And you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people would just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. And I was quite a while with him, and talking about a lot
Steve
of
Kane
things,
Show.
and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know,
Hey.
character, integrity.
This
these
is
are
just
the most important things
crazy.
with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them, and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell him Steve sent you.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just
Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. If you don't already, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Parler. Brian Craig Show on all of those. Brian Craig Show on Parler. Brian Craig Show on the Twitter. And Brian Craig Show on Instagram. All right? Follow me on all those things. So if you're just tuning in, you're missing a lot. We're finding out that a Democrat operative who was the guy in charge of the arena in Tulsa put up all kinds of corrupt obstacles to depress crowd attendance, had the temperature screeners leave so they couldn't hours before, so people couldn't get temperature screened to get to security, only let 100 people in at a time, blocked off every other seat with stickers they ordered. And look, has any of this story been on television? This story should be the lead story at the top and bottom of every hour on Fox News. Let's go to the phones. It's Monday. A lot of craziness going on. Good morning. You are on the radio. Oops, sorry. Oh, wait, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, Brian.
Oh, Nick in Baltimore. I know Nick in Baltimore is going to have something wise to say. He always does.
I got a couple of things here. This is all part of the Democrat fraud operation. I'm going to bring up a couple of other things here. Notice a few days ago, an idiot Lawrence O'Donnell got on MSNBC and said, the president should resign. Right?
Yeah.
Then you're hearing this Gasparino basically saying the same thing. See, it's all concerted effort, like you said, to try to depress and demoralize voters. Give up. Hey, let's give up.
And with depression being very high throughout the country because of the pandemic, it doesn't take a lot to make people depressed even more about these things.
This manufactured crisis, and it is. And you're going to get into another story later on about this.
Oh, the fake Russia story? Yeah, we'll get into that in the next hour. It's disgusting.
Wait do you guys hear that one?
The thing about this thing the rally in Tulsa this one really burns me. This story is new in the Gateway Pundit today. I first saw it this morning. and it made me so angry when I saw it was like 4:30 in the morning, and it just I just Democrats are just they're evil.
They're not done yet. It's not only Democrats. They've got Republicans doing it. I mean, look.
Yeah.
Fox News. Paul Ryan, that little jerk.
Yeah, he's a snake, Paul Ryan. The guy, Paul Ryan, who disinvited candidate Donald Trump, our nominee, to a campaign rally after the Access Hollywood. Why do you think a guy as young as him resigned from being Speaker of the House? What is that? That is so strange. Very odd. Lifetime job.
He was paid by
Something happened.
from the Hillary campaign.
Yeah.
A long time ago. You know, he's involved up to his eyeballs in a lot of controversy.
Yeah. Romney's VP. He's VP of the Never Trumpers. What do if let me tell you this story about this Democrat who at the Tulsa rally who sent home the temperature screeners and did all this stuff. If this were a Democrat rally and I found out we had a Republican who did something like that, I'd be pissed off. Yeah, I wouldn't want a Republican doing that to a Democrat either. That's just wrong. Maybe I'm just too honest of a guy.
Well, I think history shows us that Democrats always do nefarious things. That's how they win. Again, not to be repetitive, they lie, cheat, and steal.
Yeah.
Never won an election on the up and up. Never. Never. Not in my life.
Not even now. The majority in the House of Representatives the Democrat have. I mean, how many of those Democrats are there because of voter fraud? And voter fraud can just be non-citizens voting too. There's all kinds of voter fraud. I would say they may have, their majority is because of it.
Wait a minute, now that you mention that, it's a good point. How the heck did Nancy Pelosi, and I was in the car and I heard this on Fox News in the car coming home from one of my therapy appointments. How did she know at 12 noon that day, the midterms, we have the votes and we're going to win?
Yeah.
Votes.
Yeah.
Voter fraud operation. And again, I'm gonna.
Well, but I'll tell you. Go ahead with your. Nick, I tell you, I don't expect anything from Democrats, but when I see this story come out of Fox News that Trump is considering dropping out because of the fake poll numbers, it makes me physically ill to see this coming out of Fox.
Yeah, well, Fox has been compromised. But I'm going to tell you something. The day after the election, I specifically heard and I saw, because I was watching CNN at that point, comparing them, Wolf Blitzer came on and said that Donald Trump won the popular vote.
Yeah, I saw that. I've seen that, yeah.
He never said it again. All of a sudden they found 3-point-something million votes. Oh, by the way, we found these votes.
It's like Daley in Chicago with the basement votes all over again. Democrats are always finding bags of ballots all over the place. Have you ever seen Republicans come out finding an uncounted bag of ballots? It's always Democrats.
But this story about the arena in Tulsa, this has been floating around, and it's true. And the thing is that this is an example of what we're going to be dealing with.
Well, I don't know what Trump can do to overcome this thing at the rally. This was a very well-coordinated operation, and I do know that the president does read the Gateway Pundit. I can tell because he comments on things that I've seen there. So, I hope he sees this story. I really do.
His team can file a lawsuit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
You know what I'd like to see Brad Pascal do? This is what I'm serious about this. Our campaign manager for Trump. Get a private investigative team working for the campaign to go to Tulsa and confirm everything that I just read in the Gateway Pundit and do it quick, like the NASCAR doing their and release the results of that investigation to the public. Have a press conference. That's what I would do. I just think our campaign manager, I mean, I like the guy. I saw him at the rally here, but I just think he's weak. I just don't see him managing like I think he should manage. I don't, you know, I don't know. I don't approve of him.
Before I go, remember this: in August, things are going to be coming out. That's why they're going after Barr. That's why they're stirring all this stuff up to divert attention. Indictments are coming.
Are you talking about the Durham indictments? Yeah, yeah. All right, Nick in Baltimore, thanks for the call. Oh, you know, all this talk over the weekend of D.C. statehood again, which ain't gonna happen. But there's the D.C. statehood. I'll just say this about that. There's two purposes for the D.C. statehood. The reason they're talking about it and they vote on it in the House now is D.C. is viewed as a minority town. So it's another way to make blacks nationwide to feel marginalized and disenfranchised, to try to get Democrats or try to get blacks to vote Democrat and not vote for Trump in this election. But the real reason why the Democrats want to make D.C. a state is, it's pretty simple. They get 2 U.S. senators. You know, they want to get 2 U.S. senators. That's why. And that's reason enough not to make it a state, you know, but that's what they want. They want their 2 U.S. senators. That's it, you know, and it's not going to happen. It's never going to be a state. It's never going to happen. And you're not going to try to go out and win elections. Don't try to scam and try to get 2 Senate seats by default by making D.C. a state and they get their 2 U.S. senators. They say they have enough to get 1 House member. That's not going to do too much, but those 2 U.S. Senate seats, those are big. All right, listen, let's take our last break of the first hour. It's Monday morning, people, the 29th of June, 2020. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be back right after this.
Many people are suffering with depression, anxiety, addiction, trauma, loneliness, low self-esteem, and problems with intimacy. Day and night, they struggle to make it through. If you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, frustrated, lost, and fear never being able to find satisfaction in your intimate relationships, it's time to be proactive. Call me. Let's talk. I am Dr. Janae Lomaski, a licensed psychologist. You can reach me at 561-777-2021. That's 561-777-2021. Or you can find my number at stevekaneshow.com.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of 2 magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under one roof, we have major categories. Let me give you an example of 2. Yeti coolers, Craftsman hand tools, Milwaukee hand tools, Steel power equipment, Benmore paint, Weber grills, Napoleon grills, Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of Green Egg products, all under one roof, all with people that are experienced and show you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only 2 that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. This is The Steve Kane Show. I tell you, Ace Hardware Deerfield, Beach Ace Hardware have just, they have done so much good for me and my family. Let me tell you. My wife, she wanted to buy a new house. And I didn't want to buy a new house for all kinds of reasons, but you know. And she said, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal. I said, okay, you know. Do wives really make deals? They just kind of tell us what to do. But my wife said, no, I'll make you a deal. I'll stop bugging you about buying a new house, and we will stay here. This was months and months ago. But we have to do some renovations on this house. And it was about that time that Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware joined the Steve Kane Show as a sponsor. And boy, did they come on just in time, because I've been mainly doing the inside of my house. I'll do the outside after I'm done with the inside. But I have been redoing room by room my home. I completely redid my living room, and over the weekend I totally redid everything, all kinds of work on my master bedroom. Not just painting, did paint it, but did a lot more too, fixing closet doors and doing all of these things, fixing the door that goes into the bathroom in the master, all with things that I purchased at either Deerfield or the Beach Ace Hardware location. And my wife told me last night that she's like, wow, this bedroom, it doesn't even look like the same room. This feels like I'm in a hotel room now that's just been remodeled. That's right. And, you know, Ace Hardware, you hear us talk about them so much. There are lots of Ace Hardwares, but only 2 advertising on the Steve Kane Show. Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware. And the team over there that work at both locations are so helpful when I go in, making sure that I have everything I need for the project I'm working on. I never have to run back and get something else. I haven't had to do it once. I've done, I don't know how many home projects since Ace Hardware has joined us, and I have never had to run back and pick up something. I have had everything I've needed for every project from beginning to end, which is amazing. When I would go to Home Depot or Lowe's, I'd have to go back 5, sometimes even more times to get things. I never got everything I needed because they're just not helpful over there. And I'll tell you, the prices at Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware are very, very good as well. Both locations, phone numbers and addresses listed at stevekaneshow.com. All right, let's go to our phones. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie.
Your deal with the Gateway Pundit is just, I've gotten to the point where I really follow politics, you know that, but I know what's going on here. I mean, you asked why do they hate Trump so much. I'd like to answer that question really fast.
Steve Kane Show.
You have your generals that have turned on him because the military complex has big investments in war material that he's trying to bring, end all wars and bring our soldiers home. So they were all pissed off at him. Washington Republicans and Democrats, okay, have gotten rich off the back of...
Well, slow down on this thing with the generals, because Steve was telling me that Rush was talking last week about how the military went against him on the rioters, right? And, you know, when you turn on the news and you see all these retired lieutenant generals and lieutenant colonels and admirals, they all work for companies that do business with the government so far as military. It can be technology or armaments. And these generals retire off to that. A general's pension is huge, but they make boatloads of bucks when they get these consultant jobs with all these things, you know, and there is a vested interest in keeping the wars. I mean, look, this war in Afghanistan has been going on for almost 20 years. We have soldiers that are facing the enemy right now that were born after 9/11. I mean, what the hell? How long is this going to go on?
In the United States.
Yeah, but this thing that happened at the Tulsa rally with this Democrat.
This is what they do. This is why they've kept silent while America is burning in the streets, and they call it peaceful protesters. The press is in on it. The press has a lot of investments. China is the biggest culprit of all. Okay, the bottom line is all these people have big time investments. Romney is another one in China, and Trump wants to stop this.
Yeah.
They got to get rid of him. If they don't get rid of him, they lose all.
Listen, the Republican establishment is worse than the Democrats because they pretend to be with us when they're working against us. You know, this story from Fox that is a rumor that was made up that Trump is considering dropping out of the race if his poll numbers don't increase. I mean, come on.
Waters? Did you hear Waters this weekend and on the 5?
I didn't see the 5, but I saw Jesse Waters with Bubba Wallace.
He debunked the polls.
Oh, what did Jesse Waters say about the polls?
It could have been coming out of your mouth. I swear to God.
Well, what did he say?
Basically, that the polls are phony. The polls are totally.
Well, see, in 2016, the polls were this out of whack too. But the difference, yeah, that's right. The difference between now and 2016 is this country is dealing with a level of depression that it has not experienced since the Great Depression because of the pandemic. Right? People are locked up at home. A lot of people are afraid to go out, and there's a lot of depression, and they're taking advantage of that. But what we had in 2016 that we don't have now to counter the polls and show how absurd they were the rallies. 100,000 were turning out to see Trump every day, you know. And now, without the rallies and with the level of depression going on in this country, we're not able to, you know what I mean. I think a lot of people on the Trump train might be believing this crap.
No, I don't think so.
I hope you're right, Richie.
I talk to people. Up here. I know this is Trump country up here, okay? I talk to people. I saw somebody with a Biden sticker on their car yesterday as I was going down to the park with my animals, and I looked and I see Biden and I get nauseous. The bottom line is that people are silent. They're sitting back here saying, look what you're doing to our country, and wait till election time. That's payback. I believe that there's going to be such a silent majority in this country. I believe there's going to be a landslide. And this idiot in his basement who can't say a sentence. You hear one of his candidates, she's the head of the Black Caucus. Year of his death.
Oh my goodness.
She feels sorry for the Cuban people that their great leader is gone after 9.
Oh yeah.
She's the head of the Black Caucus.
Yeah, she's on the list. You know, I saw Biden over the weekend walking, and he was doing the foot shuffle, and he looks like he's a lot shorter.
It's something. Not for nothing. I'm not a spring chicken, okay? He's lost it. Trump is right. The press, I remember the press saying that Trump lost it, and there was a big deal about it. There hasn't been one report.
Well, you know, they talked about how, I remember even as a kid, when Reagan ran in 1980, he was going to be he was the oldest person elected president at that time, 70. He was going to be 70 when he took the oath, and they used to talk about his reduced mental capacity then. And then afterwards, they talked about when he was 78 that he was suffering from Alzheimer's his last year or two in office. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But Joe Biden certainly is, because we're seeing him on television unable to put thoughts together anytime he talks. And if you look at that Zoom that he did with Obama, and that you could tell Obama was embarrassed to be there with him because of his slippage.
One other thing, and then I'll go. Listen, I don't know if NPR in 1975. I'm surprised that you haven't mentioned this. You have to know about this. In 1975, Joe Biden on NPR, and it's on Google. You can Google it. It's a 17-minute tape. He's a segregationist with the busing. He said that black is beautiful, and they shouldn't mix. They should stay.
Yeah, in fact, when that first came out many months ago, it may have even been last year, but I know we did play that on the air. And then a story came out last week that Joe Biden in 1980 voted to fund exclusively white private schools, which I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently a lot of the old Democrat segregationists sent their kids to all white private schools, and the desegregation only desegregated the public, not the private schools back in those days. Yeah.
Then played that little clip of him saying that and broke it down, and I was in shock.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Google it again.
Yeah, maybe I'll play it again. We played it when it first broke months ago, but maybe I'll dig it up and play it again. But
You know, they're tearing down statues of monuments of people against blacks. And they have...
you know, Woodrow Wilson, you know, this thing with Woodrow Wilson, you know, and it's such an interesting... I heard everyone over the weekend talking about how they're tearing down... They're changing the name of the building in Princeton from Woodrow Wilson Hall or whatever it is. You know, Woodrow Wilson, who was the president of Princeton, right? Woodrow Wilson was... And I didn't hear anyone mention this, even on Fox. Maybe they don't know. Woodrow Wilson was president when the first movie was screened by a president in the White House, and the movie was The Birth of a Nation, which is the most racist film ever made, and it's about the heroic, the heroes of the movie are the KKK, and after the movie was shown in the White House, Woodrow Wilson said, "This is the most important film that's ever been made, a film that should have been made long ago, telling a story that's never been told before." And, I mean, he was praising Birth of a Nation. So go on YouTube and watch Birth of a Nation, people. And I, you know, and it goes back to what I was telling you all last week, that the Democrats are realizing that African Americans are wising up to the racist history of the Democrat Party, and they're wiping out the history of the Democrat Party because it's a racist history, so that they can call us the racist when all the racism comes from them. That's why this thing with Woodrow Wilson is being done.
In California, there's a real estate company that have eliminated the word. You know what that word is?
Yeah, master bedroom. Master bedrooms can no longer be used.
No, it can't be used.
Now, master bedroom comes from Mr. Isn't Mr. from master? So can we no longer call each other Mr.? Does that go for Mr. Tibbs? Remember, they call me Mr. Tibbs, one of the famous lines from movie history. Come on. And there's, you know, when I first heard this story, I thought it was a joke that it was on TMZ, and TMZ to me is, you see it on TMZ, it's the gospel. The guy that runs TMZ is, I mean, you know, they check their source. Real estate agents in California, if you don't know about this, are no longer using master bedroom in homes because of the racist history that it brings up. Yeah, I mean, come on. I thought that was a joke. My wife told me about it. I said, come on, that's fake news. And then boom, it's right there on TMZ. So what are they going to call it now? Main bedroom? I don't know.
That's a crazy name for it when it gives a description of a home. So I no longer have a master bedroom because...
Well, I just, all weekend long, I was redoing, with all of my products from Ace Hardware, my master bedroom, right? You know? I don't know. What do we call it now? I don't know.
Call it the Trump room.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. All right, Richie the bus driver, take care. It's, oh my goodness, it's coming up on 2 minutes after 7. 1 hour down, less than 2 to go because I'm running late. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about Dr. Mitch Matez at the Boca Raton Center
Be right back,
for
guys.
Age Management. He's my anti-aging doctor. That's right, I have an anti-aging doctor now. I was starting to slow down a bit. I met with Dr. Matez, and he found that my testosterone level was low. We men begin losing our testosterone starting at age 30, and it goes down every year after that. Dr. Matez told me I was approaching the beginning of andropause. That's the male equivalent of menopause. I began bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. They're tiny little pellets inserted under my skin. And now my testosterone levels are being restored to where they were when I was 25 years old. Thanks to Dr. Matez, I have more energy, I feel better, I look better, my love life, it's better, and my wife, she's thanking Dr. Matez too. Bioidentical hormone pellet therapy isn't just for men, it works wonders for women by reversing the symptoms of menopause, like the night sweats and the mood swings. Men and women, you don't have to live with the negative effects of aging, like loss of energy, loss loss of sexual desire, weight gain, or menopause. Call Dr. Matez and meet with him about bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. It works for me, and it'll work for you too. He's located in Boca, and his website is hormonetherapybocaratone.com. Or give him a call, 561-953-5490.
Welcome, everyone. Subscribe if you're not subscribed.
561-953-5490. And tell him Brian Craig sent you.
This is Steve Kane, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts about why I chose the Gardens of Boca Raton to be my final resting place. I have always been uncomfortable with thoughts of death and dying, but the very first time that I visited the
If you're
Gardens
new
of
here,
Boca Raton,
anyone new? If you're new, this is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere in the world, I promise you. If you don't love Trump, listen for a while. You'll wake up. You'll wake up.
All faith above ground cemetery with tranquil surroundings, a place where your loved ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The gardens have caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is
That's okay.
and prevents your family from having
We're in the
to
best
deal
place
with these
in
matters
anywhere,
at the
America.
time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the Gardens take care of your family as they are taking care of my family. Schedule a tour today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with Attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with offices throughout Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. Call 3-1-855-FLA-3782.
No, actually, this is a Christian shirt if you look at it.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE 1.
Yes, yes. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. I'm getting like Biden. I'm slipping with my words. No, I'm not kidding. Oh my goodness. We broadcast live on 4 radio stations each and every morning here in South Florida. From 6 until 9 a.m. we broadcast live on AM 1470, 103.9 FM, 95.3 FM, and 96.9 on the FM radio dial. And we're also on the air overnights, 7 nights a week, midnight till 6 a.m. on all of those radio stations that I just mentioned as well. You can also listen to us on the iHeart Radio app or the TuneIn app, both free apps to download on any mobile device. Search for us by our station call letters WWNN. And also, you can do this. Alexa, play WWNN Radio. Alexa, Volume 6. All right, there we go, people. We got everybody rocking and rolling there. Welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in, I'm going to do a recap before I bring in the new topics, because the stories that I led with at 6 are disgusting stories. We have never Trumpers. We've got Democrats doing all kinds of things to interfere with the election, which they tell us they're opposed to. Let me take a call or two before I do that. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, it's Jeff in Southwest Ranches.
Hey, Jeff in Southwest Ranches. What's up?
I got a solution. It's no longer master bedroom. We can do like they did with the grouper and the Jewfish. We'll call it the Goliath. No, we can't use that. That's biblical. Let's go with it's the biggest room. We'll call it the gigantic room. No.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Okay, that's good. That's a good one. Eh? Good. I like Jeff in Southwest Ranches. He's got a little humor there. You're on the radio. Good morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Is it Brian? Brian?
No, I'm Brian. Who are you? I'm Brian. Who are you?
Brother Moses, Brian.
Oh, you're still with us?
That you don't like.
No, it's not that I dislike you. I just think you're a rotten caller who doesn't contribute anything to the program. But you're on now. Prove me wrong. Be relevant or be quick. I got a lot to talk about and not a lot of time left.
I have something to say to you too. Don't be in a hurry to go.
No, I'm in a hurry because you're a terminal caller. You shouldn't even be on the air. If I knew it was you, I would have not taken your call.
You never play my preamble, my regular preamble for Donald Trump.
This call has about 10 seconds left.
All right, go about the business.
Okay, there you go. Now, oh boy, some of these callers. If I knew that was him, he would not have been on the air. All right. Let me recap what we were talking about in the first hour, and then we'll get into some new things. Because what the left are doing is outrageous. The Gateway Pundit has a story which has been confirmed by the Washington Post, the paper of Woodward and Bernstein, the paper that brought Nixon down, right? Liberal Washington Post, who proudly say they're liberal Democrats. They're not even trying to pass themselves off as anything. They're proud Democrats over there at the Washington Post. Huge story in Gateway Pundit today about the Tulsa rally. We now find out that there was a Democrat management person running the arena who sent home hours before the event the temperature screeners. That's right. He sent home the temperature screeners, the senior executive in charge of the Tulsa arena, and you had to go through the temperature screening before you could forward off to the Secret Service security checkpoints. So since he sent them home hours before, people could not go and through the security checkpoints. Wow, isn't that amazing? Then he put stickers on every other seat saying that you couldn't sit in those seats. Then they would only let 100 people in at a time about every 30 minutes into the arena. This is all in the Gateway Pundit. Confirmed, much of it by the Washington Post. And then, as the event began, let me pull this up. This was a tweet from the management guy who was running the Tulsa arena the night of the rally. Let me see here. He tweeted this. Let me find the tweet. It's in the Gateway Pundit. Yeah, let's see here. I read it earlier. He tweeted this. Lying Don show in Tulsa is a big fat stiff. There were only 6,624 people in the arena. So much for there were 1 million. Total lies. Are we surprised? That's the guy who sent home the temperature screeners hours before the event so that they couldn't go through security and get the green-orange band that would allow them to go in and show that they didn't have a fever. I tell you, what we are going up against in this election is, it's amazing to me that it happens because, you know, things like this, you've heard about stories, 100 years ago things like this happened. And you figured things like that happened, you know, in the 1800s because how much of the country was not even literate, and you didn't have so much information. Now you got blogs, vlogs, radio shows, podcasts, the Twitter, everything else, Discord servers and all this stuff. And even though everybody knows, they still go around and pull this garbage. So that's what happened in Tulsa. Fox News has a fake story on their website that says President Trump, according to unnamed Republican operatives, who won't give their names, which, that President Trump may drop out of the race if his poll numbers don't increase, which they're never going to. Election day, he's going to be down double digits against Biden. And then this huge story comes out of the New York Times over the weekend to further this Russia narrative. This one is disgusting. This story, as soon as I saw this story, I knew it was fake news. New York Times reports over the weekend that the Russia Security Agency, what do they got? The GS, whatever I don't know. The former KGB that's still around, that the Russians were paying Taliban bounties to assassinate U.S. service personnel in Afghanistan. And Trump did nothing about it and still won't do anything about it. Well, the president came out yesterday on the Twitter and said that he was never briefed this, and he did a follow-up because he checked in with the security agencies who brief the president every day, and they told him that he and the vice president were never briefed on this because the story was never credible. As soon as I saw the story, I knew it was BS. Why? This is not the Vietnam War era or the Korean War era. Why would the Russians do something like that? That would be an act of war. Why would they do something like that? You know, as soon as I saw the story, I knew it wasn't real. It makes no sense. And by the way, since when are the Russians all buddy-buddy with the Taliban? They were fighting these people in their Afghan war. But now they're buddy-buddy? You know, and Trump said that the intelligence agency says that it's not credible. That's why they never briefed him. Rumor. And the New York Times ran with a story that had not one confirmation from anyone that would have knowledge of such things. And now they've got the fake Russian narrative. Oh, well, this is why Putin... We are up against things that we don't even understand what we're up against. And on top of these national protests and everything that's going on, you've got these fake news stories like this Russia story out of the New York Times to promote the false Russia narrative that they have going on. It's never ending with these people. Never ending with these people. And this story about the Tulsa rally, I don't think it's ever going to make it to television. Because on TV, they don't want you to know. Even the Fox News channel. They don't want you to know this. Now, I would imagine Hannity will do this, and I hope that he does do this story. But where is our campaign manager getting out there and investigating this and having a press conference exposing what happened in Tulsa? He wants to move on from Tulsa, probably. I understand what but this story needs to be exposed. We got to. Who is this guy who sent home the temperature screeners so people could not go to security? My goodness. You know, and then you have Democrats. Well, listen. Let me give out the number. I want to hear what you guys think about all of this. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-GO-CANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. 888-GO-CANE-1. You are on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
You're absolutely right on this. That the whole thing, they're looking for ways to drive his numbers down, and to keep. Remember what they were saying about the rallies in 2016? That they don't matter. Enthusiasm doesn't matter.
They're there just to see a celebrity. Yeah, this story about this Democrat who was running the arena, sending home the temperature screeners, blocking off every other seat, only allowing 100 people into the arena every 30 minutes, we're being told by people that were there. Come on. I mean, these are some devious people that we're up against.
Right, and that's the thing. We've got, now, I'm not sure who's going to be running the arena in Phoenix on Tuesday and such, you know, who owns that arena or whatever. We'll have to see if this tactic works again, if they try this tactic again in Phoenix.
Well, I would say there's a good chance that it will because, you know, they did it once, they had a good run, and they'll try the same tactic again. You know, and I don't know, I don't know how this can be overcome. I really don't. Who runs these arenas around the country? Is it? I don't know. You know, is there like management companies that run a whole bunch of them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is the Tulsa rally run by a management company that may run 50 other arenas around? I don't know. Yeah, but all it takes is the guy in charge, like this guy in Tulsa, to send home the temperature screeners. And that's it. That's all it takes.
Right, that's the thing. And they know that when Biden comes out of whatever basement he's in and tries to run his own rallies, they know he's not going to get nowhere near the numbers.
No, that's why they social distance with the circles so they can have excuses for the empty space. Oh no, this is about keeping us safe. All right, Mike, I got to run for a break. Thanks for the call. 19 minutes after 7. I'm Brian. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right. We'll be back right after this.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of 2 magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. How many years have you owned this business?
I've been in the hardware business for over 40 years, Steve.
If I have a home project that I'm doing, there are so many around the house, that's the big thing today. What's the difference of my
Welcome, everyone. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. This is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere in the world. And if you hate Trump, that's okay. You're welcome.
We're an old-time fashion hardware store.
You can subscribe, too.
People that are working our stores.
We're very tolerant here.
They're very experienced. They know their business. When you're doing a project, you can come into the store and you can get somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that will like to work with you, find you the right project, the right pieces, the right time, so you can get in and out with the right material.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only 2 that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
Attention homeowners, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm here to cut your electric bill and save you a lot of money. Perhaps even eliminate your electric bill altogether. We do this by making your entire home energy efficient, by upgrading some or all of the following: roofs, doors, windows, insulating your attic, AC systems and ducts, hot water heaters, and even adding solar. Energy efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves over a short period of time. Our program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all or part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, and no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be current on your mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Now listen, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts is running a humongous discount that ends this week. So you either have to have your radiant barrier installed or scheduled by the end of this week to take advantage of that deal. Call Scott right now. This number rings on Scott's cell phone. Okay, it rings directly to him. So if you don't get him, leave him a message. He'll call you back. He usually calls me back while I'm leaving a message if he doesn't answer. So call Scott at Cut My Kilowatts, because that once that special is gone this week, it is gone, gone, gone. 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. The special will be up after this week, so call him right now. 954-939-1500 and save money on your electric bill. All right, let's get to some of the audio sound bites. So there's this new ad that's being promoted that was put together by the author of Band of Brothers. And if you don't know Band of Brothers, about that that unit of airborne soldiers in World War II who went from Normandy to Hitler's lair. And this kind of caught me off guard. I saw this story, and it says the writer of Band of Brothers has this anti-Trump ad out. And I was under the impression that the author of Band of Brothers had died, Stephen Ambrose. Stephen E. Ambrose, I read a bunch of his books, including Band of Brothers. And yeah, it's done by one of the screenwriters who wrote the screenplay in the HBO miniseries. Well, to promote that guy is the writer of Band of Brothers, while it may be technically accurate, is incredibly dishonest. Stephen Ambrose wrote Band of Brothers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But they have this new ad out about the pandemic and the greatest generation. Listen.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
In 1941, America's leaders asked a generation to go to war, to build an arsenal for democracy. They did nothing less than save the world. It didn't come easy. It didn't come quickly. And it didn't come without great sacrifice.
America will again and soon be open for business. We cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself. We're not going to let the cure be worse than the problem.
Haven't we asked enough of the greatest generation? The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Okay. Now let me explain the visual that is in that ad. And notice the Lincoln Foundation. The left are taking away all of their icons and leaders in history, and now they're using ours, right? They're getting rid of Wilson. They're getting rid of everyone. Now they're using Lincoln, Republican. Okay. That beeping at the end is a heart monitor, life support monitor. It begins with Pearl Harbor. It shows all these soldiers in the Second World War and all these great battles. And then you hear the president, and then at the end, they show an elderly person in a hospital on a ventilator and life support that you heard that beep, beep, beep from, and this is the greatest generation. You know, President Trump was out there talking about the coronavirus before anyone else was. During the impeachment trial, when he gave the State of the Union address, he talked about coronavirus in the State of the Union speech that Nancy Pelosi tore up and tossed the papers around in that stunt she pulled. Yeah, yeah. You know, remember that? They're now trying to promote this narrative that American senior citizens have died because of Donald Trump's inaction from coronavirus. Nothing could be further from the truth. The large number of senior citizens that have passed in these nursing homes, right? And who's sent people back to nursing homes more than anyone else? The Democrat governor of New York, Fredo's brother, Andrew Cuomo. See, this is right out of Rules for Radicals. Rules for Radicals says, accuse your opponent of doing what you're doing or what you have done. So they were the ones that sent the seniors all back to the nursing homes. They've had this terrible result because of it, and they're trying to project it on Trump. But now they're promoting this idea that they gave the ultimate sacrifice and they survived, and then now he's doing this. This is Joaquin Castro, Democrat, over the weekend. Listen.
Nobody thought that we would be peaking in Texas right now, but it's because the people of Texas and other places, most of them made sacrifices to stay at home. A lot of people lost their job. People got sick. Some people died. But the leaders like Donald Trump and Greg Abbott, unfortunately, squandered people's sacrifices. They didn't do their part. So our leaders have to do their part, and fellow Texans also have to be responsible.
Okay, they didn't. Yeah, okay. I don't need to hear it a second time, Castro. Imagine running with a name like... I guess in Democrat circles, Castro probably helps you get some votes. If yeah, that's your name. Oh, is he related to Fidel? Oh, let me run out and vote for him. Do you all... You know, I hear these stories of the surges In Texas and Florida, it's all weekend long, and shame on the local news. Shame on you, local news. I usually love the local news, and every story is Corona. Do you think it's just a coincidence that the two big Trump states where he's going to have massive rallies, one of them's even going to have the Republican convention, Florida and Texas are the ones that have these big surges in numbers? Listen, the governor of Florida over the weekend said that there was a huge dump of test results that came in. You know, testing is up big time, and that's a good thing. I think people should get tested. That's why we talk and promote it. I've been tested. People should get tested. People should know. But, you know, the good news out of these numbers, what's the death rate compared to what it was a few months back? Death rate's lower, isn't it? That's why they focus on number of positives, not those that have passed, because the death numbers are very low. For all kinds of reasons, you know. But it seems to me to be, it's obvious, isn't it, what they're doing? They're trying to stop rallies from happening. They're trying to keep people locked up. And it's beyond just to destroy the economy. I see what these Democrats are doing. I was watching the local news here in South Florida over the weekend. I don't remember which channel it was. It was the Broward and Miami stations. And I saw things that I could not believe that I was seeing. So we've been shut down for months. The economy's coming back. And they showed the mayor of Fort Lauderdale with code enforcement officers walking the streets of Las Olas Boulevard. Las Olas Boulevard was jam-packed. You know, when I lived in Fort Lauderdale, I spent so much time down there. Oh, my goodness. And they're going door to door, inspecting businesses to make sure they're taking part in the social distancing guidelines properly. They find one business, was it $15,000? I saw an official in Miami on the local news over the weekend. They're fining people now for not wearing masks in public because now it's mandated to wear masks in public everywhere, right? You get a warning, then you get a $250 fine, then you get $500 fines, and they're talking about the possibility of actually arresting people for not wearing masks. You know, I thought that local government, like, you know, our mayor in Fort Lauderdale, and I saw a local news story yesterday. They were visiting all the places on the beach in Fort Lauderdale, harassing the places down there. They're shutting down the beaches over 4th of July weekend. You know, 4th of July weekend is one of the busiest times, business-wise, for our businesses. You know, Fort Lauderdale, I'm sure many of you know, used to be the spring break capital of the world. And it no longer is, right? Other places are. And the reason it's not is because they rezoned it and got away from having like, you know, young people bar kind of places and made it more upscale. And what happened? Right? You've got empty places down there on the beach, like that beach place area. City councils and mayors are mostly about zoning and helping their local businesses and communities like Fort Lauderdale. And what are they doing? Going around keeping businesses closed, finding businesses that are open because they're keeping us safe. You know, President Trump is going up against forces that no other president ever has. He's got people running around, Democrats running around as the economy is opening, trying to keep it shut down. And I'll tell you, this mask ordinance, this is serious business. You better wear your masks out. You better wear them. You can get in all kinds of trouble for not wearing them. I know, but you got to do it. I got mine right here. I'm not wearing it now. I'm in the studio alone, but I got it right here. Oh, my goodness. Now, what the left are willing to do to bring down This president, because he's not part of the establishment, is beyond my imagination. I've never seen anything like this from either party. I know every president goes through stuff, right? Remember, they were camped out for months outside of GW's ranch in Texas in Crawford. Remember all of that? And you know, I understand. Every president goes through things, but the other presidents usually only have the opposition against them. This president has both parties after him. This story that from Fox News, these are Republicans with the fake polls on Fox News that keep showing that Biden is in a double-digit lead over Trump. Hasn't even campaigned in months. If it was Bernie Sanders, I could almost believe it because a lot of Democrats love Bernie Sanders, even Elizabeth Warren. But Biden, with his current mental state? Listen, I'm going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's 34 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back after this.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at
Steve Kane Show
in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone
at
discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van. At the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-94.
Welcome everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. This is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in America, in the world.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to...
Hey, Debbie, good morning.
...my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta... I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people would just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and I talked about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I want to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all
coming back.
That you can trust.
30 seconds, we'll be back.
Fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's
Steve Kane Show.
1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell him Steve sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, it's Michael in Boca. How are you doing?
Oh, all right, Michael in Boca. How are you?
I know there's a lot to be upset about right now, but I got to say, one positive thing, you know me personally, because you know I'm an entertainer here.
Yes.
In New York and all that kind of stuff. So I do want to tell you that we had a fantastic weekend over at the Wicks Theater because I performed for the first time since March 14th. It was so wonderful to see people out, social distancing, and with the temperature checks and everything. Just wanted to tell you, there is some good news out there.
Well, you know, Michael is a professional musician, and he plays in restaurants and things like this. You know, I remember when Obamacare was being debated, and Pelosi said, artists and musicians will now not have to worry. Let me tell you something. Musicians in America at all levels are suffering beyond imagination, even named acts that are very famous that have had hit albums because they've not been able to perform in 2020, you know, and the loss of income for musicians in this country is pretty it's probably one of the hardest hit professions.
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I perform all over the world, really, but I know a lot of people with big names. They're streaming live and saying, you know, tip me on Venmo and stuff. They're hurting too, even the big names. You know, they're doing all kinds of
Well, a lot of these old guys that are famous tour because they got to tour. That's how they make money, or on these concerts and everything. It's people don't realize it's tough. It's a tough business. It's a tough business, and I can't wait to be able to go to a concert again.
Well, let me tell you, you know, next time I do something, I'm going to personally invite you and your wife and your daughter, if you guys can come out, you'd be my guest. If we can get that happen,
That'd be great.
Knows that when there's a few months left before an election, all the dirt kicks up, all the negative stuff. My question to you, I just want to hear your personal take. We all know that if God forbid, and it's not going to happen, but if Biden were to win, that all this crap that we're going through, all the craziness will probably calm down. Do you agree with that?
Not at all. It's going to get worse. Remember, Nixon was conned into resigning in his second term after he had a landslide re-election. And they had nationwide protests the year before for the Vietnam War. It's going to get worse when he's re-elected. Much worse, because they don't want him, because then they'll be looking at the midterms, and they don't want him to be able to pick his successor.
So let me ask you. So you're saying if Biden wins, it's going to get worse even when Biden's president.
Oh, no. I thought you meant when Trump's reelected. No, when Trump's reelected, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse after he's reelected. So far as, I mean, you know, did you hear this? Did you hear this story I had earlier about the Democrat? Okay, now let me just recap this. I want to hear your thoughts on it. That's right. The Gateway Pundit has a major story today. There was a Democrat who was in charge of the arena where the Tulsa rally was held. He sent home hours before the event temperature checkers, so people couldn't get the temperature check to go through the Secret Service security, preventing thousands from being able to even go through the security. He also ordered thousands of stickers and had them put on every other seat, blocking them off, telling people they couldn't sit there, and would only allow 100 people every 30 minutes to enter the Tulsa arena. And then, right after the arena started, he tweeted, "Lion Don, a bust." You know, a total fix from a Democrat operative in charge of the Tulsa arena. And some of these things, I don't know how you overcome that. How would you know that a guy like that would do that until he does it?
Well, the way you overcome it, and I don't know if it's even possible, can't the campaign have their own people be the ones that manage it? Can't that be a stipulation when they do it?
I don't think so. I don't think I cannot imagine that they would let you run everything in the arena. I don't know.
Well, stuff like that, they should be. Well, how about this? Why don't they hire people that oversee that? So if they start seeing temperature check people going home, hey, wait a minute, this has got to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting very out of hand. I mean, what's going on here is worse. This is worse than the Vietnam protest era of the 60s, because, you know, during the Vietnam War protest, I believe most people, like Bill Clinton, went to the Vietnam protest for sex and drugs. It wasn't is this what's going on now. This is pure Democrat operatives. All right, Mike. I'm glad the musicians are back to work. How long? Now, when you played over the weekend, how long had it been since you played in public?
Last time I played in public was March 14th, because I'm the main guy over at Oakland West Country Club. Right?
Yeah.
I play there 5 nights a week usually. March 14th was my last night, and I've been finding other ways to keep busy, but that was the first main thing. We did a big show. It was a big Italian festival.
Oh. Well, that's great. That sounds good. All right, Mike, take care. Good morning. You are on the radio.
Good morning.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah, poor President Trump is surrounded by assassins. It's terrible what he has to go through. But you just mentioned the mask. You know, Graham Ledger on One American News said that he had a long list of people he interviewed that said masks absolutely do nothing to stop a virus. He even said Fauci said that a while back. So why are we wearing masks?
Well, because we've been ordered to by the government. That's why. That's why it's the law, and that's the way it is. I mean, look what they're doing now. They're shutting down the beaches again. We just had our liberty returned to us, right? And they're taking it away.
They want to do anything they can to annoy us, and I think it's getting a little too much now.
I want to tell everybody, by the way, Walt Disney World is opening up next month. And I'm going. And to go to Walt Disney World now, you have to make reservations. Because they're limiting the number of people allowed in Walt Disney World. And they haven't released the number, but you have to make reservations. And it opens up on July 11th. And they opened up reservations while I was on the air Friday, so I couldn't make a reservation until after the show. And my reservation is for like the 23rd or 24th of July. They were filled up, so that tells you people are itching to get out and to live life. And if you're afraid, stay home, like Richie the bus driver, and don't go anywhere. But the rest of us want to live free.
Any place should have reservations, should be busy, because I went there once, and I went to the Star Wars attraction, and it was sold out. I couldn't get in. I said, I can't go in.
Well, you gotta go with me, because I know all the tips and tricks to get in. No one's gonna keep me out of Star Wars land. I'll tell you that. I went on opening day, and I got in. But when you see the restrictions everywhere, and most every one of them is being brought upon us by Democrats, because they don't want us to get out of this, because it's an election tactic. All right, Conservative Doug, thanks for the call. Let's take our last break of the hour. When we get back, Nancy Pelosi told us what a real man is. I'm not kidding. Did you see this? Nancy Pelosi told us what a real man is. She described what a real man is. What makes men men? I'm going to tell you after the break. I'll play it for you. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be back right after this.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice.
Welcome to the show. If you're new, subscribe, click the notification bell. This is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in America. You don't have to love Trump, though, to be here.
Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of Green Egg products, all under one roof. All with people that are experienced and show you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, a half block west of A1A in Lauderdale by the sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
Did you know that 2 out of 5 Americans suffer from some kind of allergy? So it's likely that fatigue, runny nose, headaches, intestinal problems, and a general lousy feeling can be connected to an allergy. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton offer allergy tests that can detect over 125 airborne, food, and environmental allergens. Allergy testing is quick, easy, and painless.
Steve Kane
Results
Show.
can be shared with your physician or an allergist.
Yeah,
No doctor's
yeah,
or
hold on.
prescription is necessary.
Hold on.
No appointment either. Just walk right in. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, and there are lots of Any Lab Test Nows, but only 2 locations advertising on the Steve Kane Show. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Both locations guarantee the lowest price on all of their thousands of lab tests. They also both offer coronavirus testing and that's right, the sought-out antibody test, which lets you know if you've been exposed, and if you have those antibodies, you're immune, right? Listen, give them a call. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, their number 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca, 561-237-5009. And even with the coronavirus testing and the antibody test, in and out in 15 minutes or less. Make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. You are on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Ed from Auburn, Washington. Good morning, Brian.
Oh. Yay, welcome, Washington.
I wanted to talk a little bit about why I think college students are being radicalized in this whole thing. And you were talking about the things we don't well understand that we're up against. I think that college students don't think the Constitution is working for them. And what I'm referring to is Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution says that all bankruptcy laws are supposed to be uniform. Well, as you know, the college students have been denied the right to file bankruptcy on their college loans. And I think conservatives made a mistake of buying into it as it was some kind of austerity maneuver.
No, you're totally wrong about all this stuff. Why are college students radicalized? Is the question you were asking? Well, if you look, if you look at even the Cuban Revolution, right? Because somebody had mentioned Castro earlier. One of the women on Biden's shortlist for VP was recently remembering Fidel Castro on the 9th anniversary of his passing. The University of Havana is where the Cuban Revolution was born, okay? The reason that college kids are radical, and typically always radical, is their children. Their brains are not done growing and developing. They're immature. They're in adult bodies and they have sex, so they think they're grown-ups. And they still live off their parents, which is an extension similar to living off the government, and they just want free crap. And they don't get it. They're not grown-ups yet. They're still children whose brains are not done developing. And they're brainwashed by college professors. College professors go to school their entire life, and then they get jobs as college professors. They never leave the campus. So you've got arrested development among the professors. They're left-wing radicals who are still children in their minds because they've never left school. And that's why. It's not all these other things.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but as far as I know, they're the only class of people in the history of this country that's been denied the right to file bankruptcy. And the easy money that's flowed into colleges is what sponsored these grievance degrees.
Your premise would be accurate if at some point in our recent history, college kids were conservative. They've always been radical. And, so far as this student loan forgiveness, kids have a racket. Did you go to college, by the way?
Yeah, I did, and I had loans.
Ah, that's why you're sympathetic to it. Yeah.
I paid my loans off.
Yeah.
But I am sympathetic because
Please.
I've seen it go from something that used to be, it wasn't heavily financed and.
Well, okay, now now let me ask you this. I went to college too, okay? How do you think I paid for college?
I work.
Yeah, I went to college as an adult. While I was on the radio, okay, I went to college as an adult. And I paid. And sometimes I would take one class a semester. Some semesters I didn't take any classes because I didn't have the money or something. And young people think that they can go on a 4 to 6 year siesta and live in the dorms and have the government pay for school, and then all of a sudden they got a degree in basket weaving, and they can't get a job other than the Old Navy, and they don't want to pay back the money that they were living off of for 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They wouldn't be able to obtain these loans if they weren't guaranteed by the government. There's a back door.
Oh, well.
Going bad. You don't see the banks that are specializing in.
Who cares? Who cares? I have no sympathy for college kids with their student loans. Don't take them. That's my advice. There's no need to take a student loan. Get a job and work your way through school. This whole idea that you've got to take 15, 16 credit hours every semester and all this stuff is, what is this, Take 3 or 6 credits. Take Saturday classes, take evening classes, work your way through, Don't take loans. You're stupid if you take loans.
Yeah, I have to say, though, I still don't think it meets the test of being uniform because the Constitution, Article 1.
Say, hey, oh my goodness. All right, I appreciate the call. Oh my goodness. I wonder what I should have asked him what he does for a living. Because I would suggest maybe he's a hypnotist, because he was certainly hypnotizing me to keep him on the air about 90 seconds. As soon as he mentioned Section 1 of the Constitution the first time, I should have ended that call. But he had hypnotic powers. Okay, so Nancy Pelosi, over the weekend, I am not making this up, she went on television, and she told people what makes a man. And, to me, when I was growing up, there were a few men out there that were the definitions of manhood. John Wayne. Now they're renaming the airport. John Wayne Airport's being renamed. Can you believe that? And who was the other guy back in that, when I was growing up, it was like the 70s and 80s. There were lots of role models in pop culture and stuff, but there were 2 guys that were the definition of what a man should be. One was John Wayne. Who do you think the other one was? I'm not going to tell you right now. But think about it. Talking about 70s and 80s, the man who was the role model, this is what a man is. The role model for the definition of manhood. John Wayne and one other. Who was the other one? All right, now, so Nancy Pelosi, though, told us what makes a man. Listen to this.
Is it time to mandate the wearing of masks across the country?
Oh, I definitely long overdue for that. And my understanding that the Centers for Disease Control has recommended the use of masks, but not demanded or required it because they don't want to offend the president. And the president should be example. Real men wear masks. Be an example to the country.
All right, real men wear masks. That's what she said. Real men wear masks. Okay, now with the mask debate, the president should not wear a mask. And the reason the president shouldn't wear a mask is a very simple one. Talked about this before. The president should not wear a mask because the president's job, there's many things that the president should do and what their job is involved with. But one of them is to provide calm. And the president walking around in a mask causes panic, causes fear. The presidents wear a security vest, right? Bulletproof vest. They don't wear it on the outside of their clothes. They wear it hidden underneath. Because it doesn't look good if you wore it on the outside. You understand what I'm saying here? So no, he should not wear a mask. But a lot of people refuse to wear them. And for whatever reason, okay? And in certain areas, when people don't wear a mask and they go in public, what happens to the liberals? Liberals become very, very triggered. Did you see the woman who went into Trader Joe's without a mask? Now, where there are mask restrictions, there are people who are exempt due to certain health conditions. And there are people who have health conditions where they cannot wear masks all the time. This woman, she's in Trader Joe's, she's shopping. She claims she has a condition where she's not allowed to wear a mask, that it's dangerous for her to wear a mask. And she goes into this California Trader Joe's. You know what it kind of looks like? It's a mix between the Omega Man and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. She goes in here, and it's like the zombies are coming out attacking the lady. And I'll tell you, this new phrase of calling women Karens, you're going to hear that in this. You know, all this talk about offensive language, and we can't call master bedrooms anymore because master is a... Calling white women Karens is very derogatory, and it's being used in a very nasty racial and sexist way, because Karen is exclusively white women who don't conform with the liberal narrative in public. They're called Karens. It's very derogatory. It's certainly sexist, and it's also got a racial component to it. So, white woman, she goes into Trader Joe's. She's not wearing a mask, and the customers descend on her. Listen to this.
I have a breathing problem. My doctor would not let me wear a mask. So anyone harassing me to wear a mask, you guys are violating federal law. You get that? Get that on camera.
This is day one. This is opening day of Trader Joe's in North Hollywood. This is Karen.
See, he called her Karen. In North Hollywood, that's California, not Hollywood, Florida, by the way. See, he called her Karen. It's racial. It's a racial slur. It is also ageism.
Hollywood. This is Karen.
Okay, she said you... And, well, she may have a breathing problem, but her lungs are working pretty good there. She called them effing Democrat pigs, is what she called them. But, you know, this thing here, the reason I played this is this public shaming that is going on with the cell phone videos. We were talking about this on Friday's show. It's a new tactic. People go after someone, they trigger someone, and then they start recording them on their cell phone, and then they put it on Twitter or something, or YouTube, and then this happens. You know? You've really got, whenever you go out in public, you need to be very, very careful. Anything you do could end up trending like that did, the woman in Trader Joe's. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Steve Kane, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts about why I chose the Gardens of Boca Raton to be my final resting place. I have always been uncomfortable with thoughts of death and dying, but the very first time that I visited the Gardens of Boca Raton, I could feel my apprehensions vanish. Just knowing that I'd be spending eternity with my family in such magnificent surroundings lifted my spirits. The Gardens of Boca Raton is an all-faith, above-ground cemetery with tranquil surroundings, a place where your loved ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The gardens have caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is available and prevents your family from having to deal with these massive centers at the time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the Gardens take care of your family as they are taking care of my family. Schedule a tour today.
Wow, Kathy.
877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about Dr. Mitch Matez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. He's my anti-aging doctor. That's right, I have an anti-aging doctor now. I was starting to slow down a bit. I met with Dr. Matez, and he found that my testosterone level was low. We men begin losing our testosterone starting at age 30, and it goes down every year after that. Dr. Matez told me I was approaching the beginning of andropause. That's the male equivalent of menopause. I began bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. They're tiny little pellets inserted under my skin. And now my testosterone levels are being restored to where they were when I was 25 years old. Thanks to Dr. Matez, I have more energy, I feel better, I look better, my love life, it's better, and my wife, she's thanking Dr. Matez too. Bioidentical hormone pellet therapy isn't just
Wow, that looks good, Kathy.
wonders for women.
Welcome to the program. If you're new here, subscribe. This is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere in the world. But you don't have to love Trump to love this show. If you don't love Trump, you will if you listen for a few weeks. I promise you. We'll convert you.
Dr. Matez and meet with him about bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. It works for me, and it'll work for you too. He's located in Boca, and his website is hormonetherapybocaraton.com. Or give him a call, 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And tell him Brian Craig sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with Attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with offices throughout Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now,
All right. Third and final hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Welcome back. Third and final hour has begun. It's 5 minutes after the hour. It's Monday, the 29th of June, 2020. If you're just tuning in, you missed a lot, but that's okay. I'm going to do a little recapping because there's a couple of stories out there that are huge that have to be countered, and then I'll bring up the newer stuff that I haven't touched on yet. Oh my goodness, 3 hours a day is not enough. It's just not enough. Now, the first one, this story pissed me off beyond imagination. It comes out of Fox News. Now, the polls, Fox News more than anyone, are pushing these polls that show Biden ahead. And again, if you go back to 2016, Hillary Clinton was ahead by double digits the summer of 2016 too, right? You know, and the polls are fake, and we talk about this a lot. But the polls serve a lot of purposes for the opposition. And one of them, the media love polls because they take polls and all of a sudden their fake polls that they've commissioned become stories. And this one started with a tweet by a guy from Fox Business Channel. And then by the afternoon, late in the afternoon yesterday, it was a story on the Fox News website that was still there this morning when I woke up. And I want to read through this nonsense. Listen to this. This is from the FoxNews.com website. A stretch of lackluster polling for President Trump has some Republican operatives nervous about the president's re-election prospects in November. If you're a Republican who's nervous about that, call me. I want to hear why you were nervous. With some Republicans even floating the possibility for the first time that Donald Trump could drop out, that's of the presidential race, if his poll numbers don't rebound. I've got news for you. His polls will never rebound because they're fake and they're never going to let them rebound. We're going to go into Election Day with them projecting Joe Biden the winner, okay? And all the polls, including the exit polls. This is what they do, people. This is what they do. They're trying to depress you with this nonsense. I'm going to read the rest of the story, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yes, Donald Trump has never quit anything in his life. He's not dropping out. He's not quitting, and he's not behind. He's way ahead. The polls are all lies. You know, what they're trying to do is depress Trump voters. And because we are dealing with a global pandemic that the media and the Democrats will never let us get out of here, right? People are depressed in America at a level they've never been depressed before. Depression I believe depression nationwide is at the highest rate it's ever been in America. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And it's easy to further depress people when they're already depressed. They can't go out. They're at home. They've been out of work for months. They're having economic troubles. And then you lay this on them, they're going to even be more depressed. Oops. I just dropped my iPad. That's what that bang was. But luckily, I have a very strong case for my iPad. I learned that lesson long ago. All right, let me go back to the beginning of this, because I was only in the first paragraph, and I won't wander off on my own thoughts as much, because I want you to hear this crap that Fox News Channel is promoting with no sourcing whatsoever. A stretch of lackluster polling for President Trump has some Republican operatives nervous about the president's re-election prospects in November. What the hell is a Republican operative? Is anyone who votes for Trump an operative? Am I an operative? Is Steve Kane an operative? Who are these unnamed operatives? With some Republican operatives even floating the possibility for the first time that Trump could drop out if his poll numbers don't rebound. It's too early, but if the polls continue to worsen, you can see a scenario where he drops out. One GOP operative who asked to remain anonymous told Fox News. I'd like to know who that operative is. Come on. You know, the media have this scam going, right, that they never have to reveal their sources. Never have to reveal their sources. Well, then how do you know they even have sources? You don't even need sources. No, I can't reveal my sources. Yeah, but I want to make sure you have sources. I can't reveal them. No, it's it's like a priest in confessional. What a racket. I've heard the talk, but doubt it's true, said another Republican operative. My bet is he drops if he believes there's no way to win, says another unnamed Republican operative. Trump's poll numbers in recent weeks have trended downward amid criticism over his administration's handling of the coronavirus epidemic. What do you mean? Criticism. He was talking about it on the State of the Union. He saved us. We have so many ventilators now, they're giving them away to other countries. A recent Fox News poll has the president trailing Biden by 12 points. Wow. Anybody believe that one? And this is how it started. From Fox Business has a senior guy over there, Charles Gasparino. Charles Gasparino, tweeted. He sent out a tweet, and they turned the tweet into a story. Fox News' Charles Gasparino tweeted this. Breaking. It's not news, but he says breaking. GOP operatives are for the first time raising the possibility that real Donald Trump could drop out of the race if his poll numbers don't rebound. Over the weekend, I spoke to a sample of major players. Who's that? George W. Bush? Jeb? Ann Coulter? What players did he talk to? Over the weekend, I spoke to a sample of major players. One described Trump's current psyche as fragile. I'm not convinced yet. He's got time, and he's running against an opponent who is literally hiding in his basement. Plus, the public isn't focusing yet on just how left-wing Biden has become. But come on. Total made-up story. There are no well-placed. There are some. If anyone told him this, never Trump haters, wishful thinking. Donald Trump is the first president ever chosen by the people that wasn't pushed on us by one of the political parties. all the way back to General Washington, and they can't stand it. So that's fake story number one, courtesy of the Fox News channel. Now, the Gateway Pundit has what I consider to be the major story of the day that no one's talking about. I'm talking about it first. I hope others do. But I know I'm the one that's talking about it. I've seen this nowhere, and I don't think you will see this on television unless Hannity does it or Laura. But you're not going to see them promote this story. This one is one that pissed me off. I don't get angry at the news very often. I don't get angry at the news because what's the point, right? A lot of it's out of my control. I can talk and gripe about it. This one I saw early this morning, 4:30 in the morning. I'm in front of my computer doing my show prep. I saw this story. This one pissed me off, and it pissed me off big time. And it was about how the Democrats sabotaged the president, interfered with the election by having a Democrat running the arena in Tulsa. This is the Gateway Pundit. An article, this is on the Gateway Pundit right now, thegatewaypundit.com. You guys can go there and read it yourself. An article published several days ago, written by an anonymous attendee of the Tulsa rally, made the claim that management for the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma, sabotaged attendance for the campaign rally by President Trump, held there last Saturday, resulting in thousands of empty seats in the BOK Center and the cancellation of plans for Trump and Vice President Pence to speak to an expected overflow crowd of thousands on a stage set up just outside the arena before speaking at the rally inside. The fire marshal and arena management put attendance at just over 6,000. The Trump campaign claimed 12,000 had cleared metal detectors. A June 25th report by Armstrong Economics claimed that early in the day on Saturday, the Saturday of the Tulsa event, BOK Center staff placed stickers on every other seat in the arena, barring the use, thereby cutting the attendance of the 19,199 seat arena in half. The report was not confirmed until Friday and Saturday when Billboard and the Washington Post both reported on the stickers and pushed back by the Trump campaign that had campaign workers peeling the stickers off the seats right before the rally. Well, if that's all that happened, okay, but listen to what happened next. Other allegations of sabotage made by the attendee are that BOK Center temperature screeners were pulled off the job hours early, thereby making it impossible for rally attendees to get the green wristbands needed to advance to the Secret Service metal detectors for entry into the arena and the overflow stage area for the Trump and Pence speeches. And that cleared attendees were only allowed inside the arena in groups of 100 at a time. So before you could get to security, you had to get your temperature checked far out. So they sent home the temperature screeners hours before the event so people could not advance to the security checkpoints. What makes the allegation an effort to drive down attendance plausible is the tweet the night of the rally by Jay Marciano, head of the management company for BOK Center. He tweeted this. Now again, this is the head of the management company that runs the Tulsa arena where they had the event. The night of the event, he tweeted this. Line Don show in Tulsa is a big fat stiff. There are only 6,624 people in the arena. So much for there were requests for 1 million total lies. Are we surprised? That was his tweet. The BOK Center, just before the doors opened, had blocked off every other seat in the arena, so the arena could only hold about 9,500. After continued back and forth with the campaign, something happened to allow more people in groups of just 100 at a time. One attendee said, we had to wait about 30 minutes each time for them to let 100 of us trickle into the building. So they only let 100 in every 30 minutes after they sent temperature screeners home, by the way. So more people couldn't even get to that point. Oh, this is rough. This is rough. The attendee said, I looked over at the screening area and told my wife something fishy is going on. 2 hours before the rally, the screeners have left. I told her no one can get to the stage overflow area or the BOK center with the temperature screeners gone. They left their post. Thousands could not get into the first checkpoint because temperature screeners had to put a green wristband on you to gain access to the Secret Service security checkpoint. No green band, no entry to the Secret Service security checkpoint. And that was 2 hours before the event. They did this right at the last moment. So by the time they figured out what was going on, it was too late to correct it. Total sabotage. On top of the second effort outside with the security, where they had to run everybody off because of the disruptions. This story should be the lead story everywhere in the media, and it's not, because they want a narrative that people don't care enough about Trump to go see him anymore. See, when they had the fake polls in 2016 as opposed to now, we had the rallies every day. And when 50 or 100,000 people are turning out to see our candidate every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times in a day, you can say, well, the polls are fake. So now they're saying no rallies. The polls will have more credibility this time around. Oh, yeah, I know. This is what these people do. All right, listen, let's take our first break of the last hour of the program, 18 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll take our break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You've heard Steve Kane, Richie the bus driver, and many other Steve Kane listeners tell you about the great work Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care offers. Steve Kane listener, hey, called in, he had an accident, he went to Dr. Gupta, and he told us his story.
Good morning, Brian. My name's Hank. I'm calling from Hollywood. Brian, I'm calling you for a different thing. About a month or so ago, I called first thing in the morning because I fainted coming out of my bathroom. And I busted my 3 front teeth. I busted my chin, but I guess I fainted, I fell, I cracked my chin, it hit my upper teeth, and cracked my 3 front teeth. I want to thank you, and I really want to thank Dr. Gupta. I mean, he besides the fact that my teeth look great, besides the fact that, you know, his assistant is just really good, really nice, they're all really nice over there. The price was unbelievable. When I came home and I told my wife, she's like, I thought that thing was going to cost you 3 times as much. I said, so did I. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Gupta. He's awesome. Appreciate your show. I listen to your show a lot. I only called in, this is the second time. Both times, one was to make sure I'm going to the right office where Dr. Gupta was, and then this one to let you know that he's great. I know you know he's great. I just want your listeners to know he's great. His assistant is great. The prices are great. Everything is great over there.
Awesome.
Steve Kane Show.
I'm glad you had a great experience with Dr. Gupta.
I did. Thank you again, Brian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, and thank Steve, and you guys keep up the good work over there. I appreciate it. Dr. Gupta, you keep up the good work, too.
All right, there we go.
So everybody keep up.
All right, I think you guys just heard what will be the new commercial for Dr. Gupta. Do what Hank did. Call Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. For Steve Kane listeners, free consultations. And always the best price. Give Dr. Gupta a call right now. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. $70. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly
Welcome
Tire.
everyone who's new.
And he will give you a great low price right over the phone.
If you're not, subscribe.
977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve King Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
PJ, you're on the radio. Hey, PJ, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, do you think that the Trump campaign has legal grounds to sue, to file a lawsuit against the management company?
Well, the first thing I would do, I talked to Call about this earlier in the show. Yes. And what I would do is this, PJ. If I were Brad Parscale, who screwed everything up in Tulsa, I would hire an investigator, right? A private investigative team, investigate this story, right? And have a press conference with the results, including the tweet of the guy running the joint. And then I would file the lawsuit. But yeah.
Oh, by the way, that guy that tweeted that, I checked his Twitter account, and he went from public to private.
Oh, yeah. I wonder why that is. Probably because of this. People were finding out what he did.
Yeah, one other thing, you know, where you were talking about the Trump chances of re-election. Here's why he's going to be re-elected for let's just say two states. Florida. The big thing in Florida is, guess what? We don't have to worry about Broward and Palm Beach County this year because they have honest supervisors, not corrupt ones like Ford.
That's correct. That's correct. The vote fraud machine has taken a severe setback because of the Ron DeSantis appointed election supervisor. Sorry, Democrat machine.
And plus, since he's governor, I don't think there's going to be any abuse of the mail voting. Like it could be, like in California with their vote harvesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the other reason is, although I am worried about the mail-in ballots there, is the state of Pennsylvania. The thing to realize is, even though he says he's sort of for it in Pennsylvania, everybody knows he's anybody in half a brand in Pennsylvania knows is against it, is fracking. Fracking is a huge issue in Pennsylvania. Even Democrats are pretending like they're for fracking up there. So even though Biden sort of...
You know what? You know this thing about oil. You know, I don't have this call on tape, but sometimes people will ask me, "What's the best call you've ever gotten on the radio?" And this one, unfortunately, I have not. They happen sporadically, but one of my favorite calls I ever got, a liberal called me, and we were talking about oil drilling and fracking, and he says to me, "Get this, PJ." He says, "Would you want an oil well in your backyard?" And of course, my answer is, "Hell yeah! I don't want one in my neighbor's backyard unless he's pulling it from underground in my yard. But yeah, don't they have it with Beverly Hillbillies? Of course I want. I'd like to have my whole backyard filled with oil wells, frankly." What a dumb question that is, right?
Speaking of having that, it wasn't in her backyard, but, you know, something that's sort of overlooked. You know, one of the great movies, Sunset Boulevard.
I love Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, and the reason why that fictional movie, Norma Desmond, was able to live her high life wasn't because of earnings from her movies. She said it. She said she owned an oil well.
That's right. That's right, pumping out money, oil well. That was one of my favorite. You know, we had actually, I never met one in my life, but on our cruise in November, we had a husband and wife family come, and they're in the oil business. They own oil wells out in Colorado and Texas. It had some interesting conversations about the oil business. You know, but yeah, that and regular drilling, yeah. Watch Battlestar Galactica. I don't like to say that word because if you watch Battlestar Galactica, it has a different meaning. But you'll go. But anyway, it's a joke. Only Battlestar Galactica people get it. But anyway, PJ, good point. You know, this story in the Gateway Pundit, which, I mean, this guy doing his victory lap on the night of the rally is really it's a confession of what he did.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? How stupid is that guy? You know,
Well, he's a liberal. That's how stupid. That's how stupid he is. He's a liberal.
I'm hoping they sue them.
Well, you know what though? What they did was so devious. I don't think that this guy just said, "Oh, let's send the temperature screeners home." This was a coordinated effort. He didn't. I don't think this guy's smart enough to come up with this on his own. If he was that smart, he wouldn't have been doing the victory lap on Twitter. You know. So I'd like to get this guy in a deposition.
Hey, I don't want to be bragging here, but speaking of the Gateway Pundit, they featured the second time in like a little over a week one of my videos on Saturday.
Oh wow, that's great. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I love the Gateway Pundit is what the Drudge Report used to be back in like '98 and '99. It's where the stories are. I love the Gateway Pundit.
And the conservative Freedom House broke the story about the Bubba Wallace news. So I tell people that I mean that.
Well, you know what though? The Bubba Wallace news story, we had that follow up with the new picture where it's a bigger news that the Bubba Wallace told Jesse Waters there was nothing like it in the other stalls. So now we've got a lot of confusion going on here with that Bubba Wallace story.
Yeah, but the same news was there for like 6 months at least.
Oh yeah, a year. I think at least a year. Yeah, exactly. All right, PJ. Got to run for a break. We'll take our break. We'll be back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
We are chatting today with Frank, the owner of two magnificent Ace Hardware stores. One, Deerfield Beach, 365 South Federal Highway, about a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough on the west side of Federal Highway. And the other, Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, half a block west of A1A in the Lauderdale by the sea. Well, one of the things I noticed when I first walked into Ace Hardware is that you carry such a wide variety of the big brands all under one roof. It's astounding.
That's Ace's new practice. It's called Best Brands. And under
Hey,
one
hold on.
roof, we have major categories. Let me give you an example of two Yeti coolers, Craftsman hand tools, Milwaukee hand tools, Steel Power equipment, Benmore paint, Weber grills, Napoleon grills, Traeger grills, Big Green Egg. We are a platinum dealer. We have the largest selection of Green Egg products, all under one roof. All with people that are experienced can tell you how to use these products.
There are lots of Ace Hardware stores, but there are only two that are advertising with the Steve Kane Show. We're talking about the Deerfield location, a quarter of a mile south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of Federal, and of course the Beach Ace Hardware,
Yes.
located at
Yeah, I did
232
say that.
Commercial
That is true.
Boulevard, a half block west of
DeSantis
A1A
appointed a
in
Republican when he was
Lauderdale
young.
by the sea. Very, very special locations. Be sure to mention Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with offices throughout Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, and it's a new week. It's Monday, and it's time to check in with Richard Pearl from Simply Natural. Richard Pearl, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, how's the world of all natural health doing?
Well, it's actually doing better than people realize because, quite frankly, the world isn't falling apart. The media makes it seem that way. Maybe the mayors and the governors make it seem that way. And our policies as citizens are making it that way. But the real truth is that things are getting better. On Saturday's show the other day, I talked about the actual death rate, and I talked about, especially in Florida, how there's been a spike in people with the virus but not dying. Yesterday there was 20 deaths, the day before there was 24 dead, and so forth. On April 28th, we said 83 dead. We're in the low 20s almost every day, even though there's a huge spike in cases. What it tells you is that the virus is not that strong anymore. One of the most important aspects of it, and this is something that people have to understand, the group of people that are getting those virus are 16 to 35.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing that can happen, because when you're that age, your ability to fight off the virus is strong. So the virus comes in at one strength, but leaves at another. Think of it like a hurricane. A Category 5 hurricane is coming barreling down on Florida, but then it goes over either Cuba or it goes over, Puerto Rico. Next thing you know, after it hits the mountains, becomes a Cat 3, and then it gets Cat 2 or 1. By the time it gets done, it might be tropical storm. So having these people that are the strongest
Mm-hmm.
lead this virus, what it's doing is it's the people with the best immunity. So it's going to create herd immunity. So you want the people that are young to get exposed to it, because no group that will make
Oh, so all of these bar shutdowns where all the millennials hang out with, that's a bad idea then.
it's a bad idea. Making everybody stay 6 feet apart, making
Yeah.
everybody not be exposed to each other. You can't get rid of a virus, stop people from being exposed.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weak, you can see it across the nation. There's not anywhere having any state having any huge amounts of spikes in death. Quite contrary, almost everybody is not dying on these basis.
Wow.
Dying state. Well, I want to leave one last thing. This is an abuse by our system. I had a customer come in the other day that had cancer and had pneumonia from the chemo.
Wow.
And so
That's rough.
they tested 3 times for the COVID virus.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were negative each time. They go to Westside Regional and they want to test them a 4th time. So they test them again. And while they're testing them and waiting for the results in a couple days, they wanted to put them in the COVID unit.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow.
And they want to put them in the COVID unit while they're waiting for the results. They go
Oh my goodness.
didn't have the virus. Doing it a 4th
I guess they wanted to make sure he did.
pretty much. Guy in that condition died pretty
I wonder what the billing is. I wonder if they would have admitted him into that unit, what the billing would be.
a lot.
Yeah.
Because she told me something, Bill, I think she said that the 3 tests, I could be wrong on this.
Wow.
3 tests, 4 tests cost like something like $70,000.
Wow.
X-rays and so forth.
Sounds. Wow. That's crazy. Well, listen, Richard Pearl at Simply Natural is always up to date on the cutting edge of information and what's going on in the world, in our community. His store is located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University. If you're not familiar with Sunset Strip, there's Sunrise Boulevard, and then just north of Sunrise Boulevard is Sunset Strip. That's where you'll find Simply Natural. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Give them a call if you'd like to call, 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045. Richard Pearl at Simply Natural. All right, Richard Pearl, we will talk tomorrow.
Absolutely. And just keep in mind, folks, you need to be in charge of your health. How does Simply Natural will help?
That's right. All right, take care. Take care. And I'm taking many products myself from Simply Natural. Okay, so fake story number 1 today is Fox News saying Trump may quit. Man's never quit anything in his life, but they're saying he's going to quit because of their fake polls. And the fake story number 2, which is everywhere, is that Russia was paying the Taliban to murder American service personnel. This story has been completely debunked by the President of the United States himself, Donald Trump. Now, I knew this story was bogus as soon as I heard it, because why would they do that? That would be an act of war. Why would they do that? And since when are the Russians friends with the Taliban? They were fighting the Taliban fighters in the 80s, or their daddies. Remember Rambo 3? Rambo 3, I tell you, the worlds have changed. Rambo 3. Rambo, remember where Rambo went? Rambo 1 was in America with Brian Dennehy. Rambo 2 was back to Vietnam. And then in Rambo 3, he went to rescue the colonel who was being held by the Russians in Afghanistan. Do you remember who Rambo was fighting with in Rambo 3? The Taliban. That's true. Things change. But anyway, when I saw this story, there's a new Rambo, which I saw a couple weeks ago, that involves sex trafficking in the southern border. It's not that good, but it's interesting. It's on Amazon Prime for free if you got it, the new Rambo. Anyway, as soon as I saw this story that the Russians were paying the Taliban soldiers to murder American service personnel, I knew it was not true. I mean, you know, of course. I mean, why would they do that? What would be the gain out of that? I mean, that would be, if they were doing something like that and it became publicly known, there'd be such an outcry of just, it's an act of war, no question. So I knew it was BS. President came out, set the record straight, said the story is not true. He says he and the vice president were never briefed on this. He got another briefing over the weekend from the security agencies, and they briefed the president over the weekend that these were never credible stories, and that's why they never briefed him or the vice president. So completely false. Well, over the weekend, even though they have been totally debunked, okay, they're starting the Russian narrative again. They're trying to promote this narrative that this happened. Trump didn't do anything about it because he's controlled by Putin. Let me play a couple of clips that back this up. This is Chuck Todd, who I can't stand. I don't know who I dislike the most. Chuck Todd or Chris Wallace. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. If I had to say, which one do I dislike the most? I would say Chris Wallace because he has a lot of influence over Fox News. And I don't spend too much time over on MSNBC. Anyway, so they have this fake story about Russian, totally debunked by the president. But Chuck Todd, he still wants to promote the Russian narrative. Listen.
Let me ask you this.
Oh, by the way, he's talking to John Bolton.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that that the president is afraid to make Putin mad because maybe Putin did help him win the election and he doesn't want to make him mad for 2020?
Honestly, I don't think there's evidence for that. And
oh, even John Bolton doesn't want to go that far. You know, and it's such a slimy, snake-like, sleazy tactic of Chuck Todd. I mean, this is like the days of LA Confidential type of reporting, right? You know, he doesn't want to say it, but he has a former official with the Trump administration. So do you think the president's afraid that he make Putin mad over this? He doesn't want to report it because it's been debunked, but he's just asking Bolton about it, so that makes it okay. They get their fake Russian narrative out there for another news cycle. And then here's Joe Biden.
President Trump, the commander-in-chief of the American troops serving in the dangerous theater of war, has known about this for months, according to the Times, and done worse than nothing. Not only has he failed to sanction or impose any kind of consequences on Russia with this egregious violation of international law, Donald Trump has continued his embarrassing campaign of deference and debasing himself before Vladimir Putin. He had this information, according to the Times, and yet he offered to host Putin in the United States and sought to invite Russia to rejoin the G7.
Okay, it goes on and on. So do you find it a little too convenient that they've got this false narrative? They even have enough to get Biden put together a whole paragraph without screwing it up off the teleprompter. This whole effort over the weekend with Biden, with Chuck Todd, and many others to promote this false Russian narrative yet again. I wonder how long it took to get that paragraph out of Biden. How many takes did they have to do to get an unedited one? I believe they spent all weekend with this false narrative. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The company.
Speak up, speak up, speak up. I can't hear you. You're mumbling. You're mumbling. Speak up.
I said PJ covered pretty much, but also through not only through the company where the rally was held, but through the guys privately.
Well, got to do. I want this publicly exposed. You're talking about the Democrat operative that sabotaged the Tulsa rally. That's a long process. I want a major press conference with either the president himself or at least the campaign manager for Trump 2020. I want a major press conference about this issue, and have it out there and be a discussion. I want it to be the lead with McEnany today, with Kellyanne McEnany. This is the biggest story of the day. Is the sabotage of the Tulsa rally has been exposed and uncovered, and a lawsuit. I mean, that doesn't get us. We need this in the news. People need to know why the attendance was so low inside that rally.
Absolutely. My point is, make this guy as a lover in backing him other company would make their life a living hell.
Well, what this thing in Tulsa is huge. This story is the biggest story of the last couple of weeks, really. Political story. I mean, I know there's things that have happened around the country with the monuments, but this is the biggest political story of the last couple of weeks because it shows a very devious, coordinated, possibly criminal effort to have low attendance. And the problem is we've got other events coming up with the president. And this one here was so well coordinated, so well organized, and so devious, they're probably going to try the same thing and more at the next one. So this needs to be exposed before we have a next one. I was watching Right Side Broadcasting all day the Saturday of the rally. And there were so many thousands of people out there. They were interviewing people all day. There was so much energy outside. And then when we saw the inside, I'm like, where'd all the people go? I saw the video of people around. I'm like, where'd all the people go? Now we know. Now we know because Right Side was outside. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break of the day. When we come back, there's a lot more to talk about. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die? The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you are still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry, all life insurance carriers in 2020 have adjusted their premiums to your advantage. Life insurance rates have been lowered due to the updated mortality tables. People are living longer in America.
Yes, they are.
That means life insurance premiums are lower. Call Debbie and Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8880
This show flew by.
to learn more and for
It's one of the fastest shows ever.
Existing life insurance policy, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080.
Feeling old, tired, broken down? This is Dr. Mitchell Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, and I can fix it. In 2005, we introduced South Florida to the amazing implantable hormone pellet. These safe and effective pellets will reverse the signs and symptoms of the aging process and leave
I'm going to call you right. Yeah, I got you.
Energy, sex drive, and weight control are just a phone call away. If you want to feel good again, if you want to look good again, and you want to function well again, call me, Dr. Matez, at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490. That's 561-953-5490. Or visit our website at hormonetherapybocaraton.com.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show, live and morning drive on 1470 AM and 95.3 FM.
All right, welcome back. It's Monday, and it's time to take our first look for the week at the medals. William Youngerman from William Youngerman Incorporated on the line. Good morning, William Youngerman.
Good morning. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing well. What are the medals looking like this week?
Metals are looking like we're starting a new trading range, probably somewhere in the 1765 to 1785 range. We'll see how that holds up. Starting off this week a little bit lower. Yesterday, Friday, we closed up $6.30 at 1771.50. You got up 1774 on Friday. Friday. Silver close was $17.80. Platinum closed out the week at $7.95. That was up $2 on Friday, and palladium closed up $50 on Friday at $1,812. This morning, like I said, gold's a little bit weaker at $17.65. That's down $6.50. The U.S. dollar is also much weaker, so that will kick in eventually here with and the gold should pop up again. Silver down to nickel right now at $17.75. Platinum up $8 at $803. And palladium is up $14 right now at $18.26. So platinum holding around that $800 number, and silver staying nicely above 17, with gold above the what was the resistance area of around 1755 for quite a long time now, holding very well above that, and currently at 1765, 1750 on the day.
Well, that's a lot of great information. Things are looking great. Listen, give William Youngerman a call. His number is toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com. And, of course, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, which is on the first floor of the Bank of America building on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, immediately east of Federal Highway US 1. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. John in Okeechobee, you're on the radio.
Yep. I've got an old friend of mine from like 30 years ago. Used to be a president of a bank in town here. But, you know, we were really close friends. He put on Facebook complaining about it.
Mm. Yeah.
I said, y'all couldn't believe that BS. And he jumped all over me. So I can't talk to him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, God, I can't believe it.
Well, you have a breathing problem, so you cannot wear a mask in public. You would not be able to breathe.
It's not going to bother me. God, you said it.
It sounds like you can barely talk.
Let's just close my vote.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm having a problem breathing.
Okay.
Anything else?
Great.
That's sad that this kind of a thing is dividing people with bitterness and hatred because they don't wear a friggin' mask.
Well, I imagine, is your friend a liberal? Is your friend that unfriended you on Facebook, is he a lib?
I didn't think so.
You didn't think so? Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call, John in Okeechobee. You know, I have about 50 sound bites to play and only a couple minutes left in the show, so I'm just going to play a couple here and talk about them. I want to play, let me see. Let me do this. Let me see. I got to play that one. Okay. I've got 3 that I want to make sure I get out on the air today, so I'm going to go through these a little faster than I planned because the clock is ticking. The first one is Nancy Pelosi talking about the death of George Floyd, and this is a follow-up. If you remember, Thursday, she said, on Thursday, I played this on the show on Friday, it aired all weekend long, the 30-some-odd times this program airs over the weekend. Nancy Pelosi said that the Republicans are trying to get away with murdering George Floyd, which is insane, right? She doubled down on that. Listen to this. This is Nancy Pelosi in a press conference on, I believe, Friday.
Yes, sir.
You frequently criticize the president's rhetoric, so why do you think it's appropriate to suggest that the Republicans are trying to get away with the murder of George Floyd for their handling of police?
I think George Floyd's murder would have been prevented if our bill that we have now is were the law of the land.
See, this is interesting. So if the bill that she is talking about were the law of the land, the murderer, the police officer who murdered George Floyd, would not have murdered him because it's against the... Nancy, it's against the law to suffocate and murder a man, too, and he did that. That law's already on the books. He used excessive force and murdered a man by suffocation. Or would it be strangulation, the way he did it? I don't know, which is the medical term. But that's already against the law. She goes on.
Would have been prevented if our bill that we have now is were the law of the land. And that's what we're talking about, is how we go forward.
Murder is already the law of the land. It's against the law, is everywhere. Everywhere it's against the law, Nancy. So murderers do not obey the laws. Okay?
Yeah. And I don't know. No, I do not. I'm telling you, we're talking about something that is an incident that everybody saw. The martyrdom. Everybody saw 8 minutes, 46 seconds of a knee on the neck. And then they come up with a bill that says, or the president comes out with his, whatever it is, saying,
oh, she's getting like Biden.
chokeholds, but maybe some. Yeah, no, I have no, absolutely not. We are talking right now, the administration in terms of,
See, now what the president is talking about is that a chokehold is okay in a life and death situation. If you are facing imminent death, you can use whatever means to save your life as an officer. Nancy Pelosi thinks officers should not be able to use the chokehold even if they are facing the final moments of their life. Oh, no, that's against the law. I can't do that. That's what Nancy Pelosi is suggesting.
Their delay on the coronavirus caused death. Add that to your bill of particulars. Policy hasn't...
She's the one that tore up the State of the Union where Trump mentioned the coronavirus.
Impact. And we can prevent future deaths if we ban the chokeholds. I'm fully committed to that.
No, Democrats can prevent further death. Listen, the cop that murdered George Floyd, a Democrat. The entire community, Democrat community. The city council, the mayor, Democrat. The cop, Democrat. The chief, Democrat. It's a Democrat town. They keep promoting these things that like Republicans did these things. Okay, now 2 more clips. Oh my gosh, I got 50 sound bites today. This weekend was one of the busiest news weekends like ever. Let's see here. Now this one I don't understand. Did you see, I really don't understand this one. Did you see the video of Black Lives Matter, which looks to be mostly white people in this instance, going into the Target and shutting down the Target? Let me play this. I don't understand. What is their beef with Target?
Black people, on black people, on black people.
Now keep in mind, this is inside a Target, back in the electronics department of a Target.
Black people, on 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 black people. Living around this neighborhood, living around in this neighborhood, because you prioritize money over people. So until you stop calling the police, continue to shut your business down.
Okay, so now Black Lives Matter is attacking Target. Target is one of the Democrats' biggest allies. If you remember, Target are the ones that had the same-sex bathrooms now, right? They have same-sex bathrooms. A lot of people didn't know this. It wasn't just same-sex bathrooms. It was same-sex dressing rooms, too, because they don't want gender to stop someone from going into the bathroom or the dressing room that they are most comfortable in. Target not only is very liberal with that agenda, they're liberal on many other things too. One, I've talked about this one before. I buy a lot of T-shirts at Target, and I did not realize this, but they have hidden gay pride things inside some of the T-shirts. For example, I have 2 T-shirts I wear from time to time. If you watch on YouTube, you see them. One's a Star Trek shirt, and it has the Enterprise from the television show the original series Star Trek, and then it has these rainbow things coming out of the engines. And I got that shirt, and I wore it. And my wife said, "Brian, that's a gay pride." I said, "No, it's not. It's the Warp Speed colors. It's the wrong ship, but that's what they're doing." And I went over to Best Buy, and they had a saleswoman at Best Buy that was trying to sell the dish or something, DirecTV or something, stopping customers going in. And she made a comment. She tried to get a conversation going with me about the pride flag I was wearing on this shirt. And then I realized, wow, it is a gay pride. I still wear the shirt. I don't care. I got another shirt that's a Star Wars shirt that has a similar rainbow effect behind a TIE fighter. So anyway, Black Lives Matter is out there attacking Target. Target is one of the biggest Democrat allies out there. So going after Target, not a very smart move. You're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name? Hey, Mike and Boca. What's up?
I went to the beach yesterday.
Did you say goodbye since they're closing them?
Yeah, I'm very upset about that. It's ridiculous. But we couldn't get in. It was, the seaweed was.
Oh, the seaweed. All right, Mike. We're almost out of time, so I got to let you run. We can't talk about seaweed. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do I have time for anything else? Yes, I do. This one's quick. This is Presley from the Squad talking about Black Lives Matter and reparations on the floor of Congress.
Black Lives Matter is a mandate from the people. It's time. Pay us what you owe us. Our black skin is not a crime. It is the beautiful role of nation builders. Thank you. I yield.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I tell you, it's getting hairy out there. But you know what? We are out of time, people. This show has flown by faster than any show I can remember in a long time. It seems like I just said hello right after 6, and we're all out of time. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Don't forget, everyone, don't forget, any lab test now of Boca, any lab test now of Coral Springs, they are offering coronavirus testing as well as the antibody test, both locations. Any lab test now of Coral Springs over by the Coral Square Mall, Ramblewood, and University. Any lab test now of Boca in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is. Give the Boca location a call, 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs, 954-906-5983. Remember, the antibody test and the coronavirus test. The antibody test, then you know you got those antibodies, which means you're immune. That's great news to get. All right, we'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. This is The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Hey guys, if you are, show's over. I'm just shutting everything down now. If you guys are new, make sure you subscribe, all right? Let's see. I know. I didn't even get to half of my stuff. Well, I'll get to it on my podcast. What I didn't get to here on the radio, I'll do on my podcast today. Here, I'm just putting everything away. The wall clock is slow? Yeah, it's run by a battery. I got a clock here that's not. I don't use the wall clock. Every day I do this, I'm just putting everything away. Yeah, like I say, if you are new here, make sure you subscribe, all right? Everyone's ganging up on Trump. Not me. We're not ganging up on Trump. That story I had out of Tulsa is, that's a big story. That's a really big story. It really is. Every conservative should be talking about that story today. Oh, Mike's number? I'll get it for you right now. Hold on. Let me double check it just to make sure I give you the right number. Okay, you ready? Here's Friendly Tire. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Did you get it? That's Friendly Tire. All right, make sure you mention the Steve Kane Show when you call. All right, guys. Listen, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and I'll see you later. All right, take care. Thanks for watching, everyone.